Happy week 12, everyone. Welcome to the RotoWire live start, sit, stream. Excited to see everybody here. Know people be piling in quickly. Aaron Rodgers was ruled out. Call me crazy, but I actually think that's better for DK Metcalf. I know it sounds crazy, but Mason Rudolph at least has an ounce of escapability to extend the play. And I remember when Mason Rudolph got George Pickens for like 150 on 3 catches against Cincinnati a few years back. So yeah, I'm a little bit optimistic for DK Metcalf. I like DK Metcalf, but man, it's been rough go for him. Josh Jacobs is going to come down to the pregame. That'll be decided during the stream at some point, but I'm sure I'll see an announcement come through and I'll make that announcement when I see it. But if I answer questions ahead of time, really won't know the answer to that. I know Jacobs wants to play, and if he plays, I don't know what his full role will be, but it's not a structural injury. It's basically how much swelling is in the knee and how much pain management and all that good stuff. But man, that's why I drafted Josh Jacobs. That dude's a warrior. Give him a lot of credit. He does not want to sit a game out. Finally, one last thing before we get rolling with the questions. If you really need a tight end this week, he's real hit or miss, but Hunter Henry's playing the Bengals. And as you know, the Bengals cannot cover tight ends. So you might need to stream him if you're in a big spotter. I put him at tight end 13 because his role has not been great since week 4. But again, it's always in the realm when you're playing the Bengals that remember Colson Loveland. Yeah, you can run all day. So see what happens there. All right, we got some super chats to start this thing off. Thank you for using that super chat function. Gets you to the front of the line, too. Scott, all right, what you got here? And there goes the first one. Emmanuel Wilson or Kareem Hunt if Jacobs is out. So Indianapolis, if you look at the season numbers, you're going to see they're a really, really strong run defense. DeForest Buckner has been on injured reserve for a bit of a while, and he's a great interior defender. They got Grover Stewart next to him, who's really good as well, but he's not DeForest Buckner. So I do think that at the end of the day, Kareem Hunt can do quite a bit with the work he gets. Game script will mean a lot here. I just don't see either team running away from each other. So I do think that Hunt gets involved throughout in this one. And I do think that the Chiefs have to try to run. They definitely have to try to run. Emmanuel Wilson, he'll get the majority of the work. If Jacobs is out, Chris Brooks will mix in. But Wilson would probably have a little more receiving chops. And at the end of the day, they've been throwing the ball to the running back a bit. So I think if you're in a PPR league, I probably give the edge to Emmanuel Wilson. If you're in a half PPR or you're probably not in standard, I doubt that. Then it'd be Kareem Hunt because his touchdown upside's a little bit higher. Don't be surprised if Chris Brooks comes in as at the goal line. Brooks a bigger back. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but it could be something to consider as well. All right, Thomas, PPR, running backs, Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, Travion Henderson, Pittman, McMillan, need 2 running backs and a flex. Good problem to have. So Swift actually has a great matchup. Pittsburgh's not very good against the run. The Bears' run blocking is really incredible. I think there's a lot of running in this game today on both sides. For those who are listening, the Bears are down on this. Yeah, not to discord, but the Bears are down all 3 starting linebackers. Not that they're good, but going to replacements. Both teams should have success running. Travion Henderson, look, we don't know what Stevenson's role is going to be. There is a world where they've believed all along. They had to have known how explosive Stevenson was. They can't be a surprise to them. So there's a world where Stevenson comes in against Cincinnati and he gets his role back. It's in the realm. I don't know that the coach will do it. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. But so that said, and Breece Hall's been up or down, but 2 of the last 3 games he's been really good. But what I will say is this. I would imagine Tyrod Taylor is going to throw the ball to Hall. Hall's only had a few targets in the last 3 games. Hall's an amazing receiver. But again, these are all speculation points. I think the safest play of the 3 is Swift. I think if it's Swift could have upside here too. He could have upside as well. So I think I would play him for that reason. And the next one, I would think Henderson has a safer floor because they're playing Cincinnati. Even if both running backs are involved, they could go off. If it's my lineup, I want to find a way to get Breece Hall in there, but I got as my 3rd ranked running back among these 3. And I wish, and you need a flex. So you know what? I'd flex him. I would flex him. And then so you need 1 flex from Pittman and McMillan. So outside receivers, Kansas City does really well against them. Really, if the game plan is done right by Shane Steichen, he's looking for Josh Downs. The slot is where you attack. And I don't know if Steichen's going to do that, but I would definitely think about that. And then that would leave Ted McMillan. And again, McMillan was great last week. 49ers are pretty good against wide receiver ones. They'll bracket them. And they don't have anybody else to worry about. So I would take the 3 running backs and call it a day. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Scott, Wandale, Myers, or Judy, PPR. Um, can't trust Judy. Can't trust Judy. You know what? I would give. I do think Wandale. He hasn't had big games since maybe that Philly game. I do think that they're going to trail as like double-digit dogs, and I do think that Jameis will get him targets. But Jacoby Myers is coming on. It was a good game last week, and his snap share went up a little bit. I think it was 65% last week, but I imagine they keep playing him more and more the more he's in there. And against Arizona, I think they're going to need him. I think Myers is the safest floor, but I don't know how big a ceiling is. So if you're going to swing for ceiling, Wandale should have that chance. Detroit, look, and I don't know what Detroit will do. Detroit is a game on Thursday. If Detroit fires out to a 20-point lead, which is really possible in the first half, because they play angry when they're coming off a loss and they're at home, there's possibility they could rest some defenders in the second half if the game's out of hand. They wouldn't do it on a full week, but they might do it with a Thursday game against Green Bay. And so I think Wandale is your upside play because that really could be a factor. And then Fant or Gesicki or Njoku. So Fant has a real good chemistry with Flacco, we know. I don't know what Gesicki's role is going to be. So I would be nervous because I think they both play, and I don't think that one's tangibly better than the other. They could split the role. And Njoku right now can't be trusted. His quarterback now is as bad as it gets with Sanders. So but of those 3, when you're splitting up, Fant was only getting 4 targets a game. And I would imagine it's a short passing game. I guess I'd go to Njoku with tight end. I guess I'd go to Njoku just because I think Gesicki's going to eat in the Fant's play. All right, one more super chat here. That's awesome, John. All right, tight end Colston, Loveland, or AJ Barner. Well, Barner had the crazy amount of targets last week. That was all game script driven. The 4 interceptions by Darnold, and they were chasing the entire game. And that's something they haven't done all year. Guess what the Seahawks probably are doing today? They're probably not chasing points. So I don't know. Barner probably goes back to that 3-target role. Now, Loveland doesn't get a ton more targets in that, but I do think against Pittsburgh, I think part of the game plan has to be that, I said they want to run the ball, and the Bears do. But I do think, and Highsmith is out, which is a big deal, but they still got TJ Watt. And I do think the short passing game is going to be a bit of a priority for the Bears. So I would give Loveland a bit of the edge there. And then between Charbonnet, Booty, and Shaheed, you need 2. So there was the talk that they wanted to get Walker more work. Yeah, blah, blah. I hear that every season, and that ends up being not too much of a big deal. But Tennessee's not a good matchup. Tennessee's a really rugged run defense. Now, Kayshon Boutte back from an injury. He's always risky, but he was getting downfield targets every game, and they're playing Cincinnati. So I would go with Boutte here. And then Shaheed's tough because he's really not acclimated in yet. But man, talk about a week they can get him in because this is a tough team to run on, and they really should get him going. You know, it's a bit of a roll of the dice, John. And Charbonnet's been a touchdown scorer, so you always got to worry about him getting a short touchdown. But I don't like his matchup. I would go with Boutte and Shaheed there. And you wish the Bills would have traded for Shaheed. Oh, my gosh. You're not lying about that. Buffalo was so apparent. And I talked about this last year with their receiver room. I talked about it this year. It's like, yeah, Josh Allen is great and he can make plays. But at some point, you got to have receivers who can win. And it's really rough for them right now. All right, we'll get to the regular stream of questions. Super chats will always get to the front of the line. And here we go. Drovers, Michael Wilson, Alec Pierce, Wandale Robinson. Wow, they got a boatload of them. Tracy, Goddard, Warren. You need 21 flex? I think you need 2 and 1 flex. Oh man, tight end, receiver, PPR. Neat. That all right. You need. I'll rank them for you. I will based off of last week. Wilson's going to get the ball, and I'm not 18 times, not 185 yards or whatever it was. But Wilson's a solid play here. He's a good stylistic fit for Brissett. I had said that last week. Didn't recommend this as a great play, but you play him. Number 2 in this boat. Alec Pierce, I think he has like 1 game under 60 yards since week 2. So he's been money. And I'm actually going to put Warren number 3 here. I think they're going to need to use the middle of the field against Kansas City. I think that when passing out, they're going to send some blitz, and play action is going to work really well there. Goddard's been Goddard's been real touch on the pen. He's averaging like less than 30 yards in the last month, so that's been tough there. I would put Tracy for volume, then Wandale, and then Goddard. That's how I'd rank them out. So yeah, so it was Wilson, Pierce, Warren, and Warren's your tight end anyway. So Warren probably should be number 2 on that list. And then, like I said, it was Tracy, Wandale, and Goddard. All right, Kevin, good morning to you. Which 2 players do you sit? Monty, Jacobs, Tucker, Diggs, Jennings. Jennings isn't hogging targets. He could have a game at any time, but right now it seems like CMC and Kittle are the offense, and Pearsall's going to get involved too at some point. So I just think with the uncertainty there, you probably got to put down Jennings. Diggs is in a good spot here. Hard to sit him here. Tucker was great last week. It's not a great matchup. The Rams are a good run defense. So there's that. And remember, last week, Tucker did take advantage of a horrible Buffalo defense. I mean, credit to Tucker, but the Jacobs thing's interesting, right? At least Monty has a good matchup this week because Monty should be able to run this week. There are games that doesn't work out, but the Giants, you can run interior. So I think Monty's all right. So it's going to be so I'm sitting Jennings, and then it's going to be between Tucker and Jacobs. If Jacobs is active, if he's active, he's going to play some, and he probably got to get double-digit touches, and he probably gets goal line work. So I would play Jacobs over Tucker, and obviously if Jacobs is inactive, the decision's made for you. Remember, Tucker had this game last year against New Orleans. He had the same game, and now Irving's out, so that helps him. But again, this is a way different matchup. All right, and who to start in half PPR? Juwan Johnson or Dallas Goedert? Juwan Johnson snaps went way down last week. Now they were winning, and they were playing heavy personnel, which Johnson's a glorified slot receiver playing tight end. So they ran the ball. Now that could happen again against Atlanta. So there's a little bit of nerves factor for Juwan Johnson because of that. Goddard hasn't done much lately, but they are playing Dallas, and they're going to have to score some points. And Dallas could bring a bit of a pass rush, and Lane Johnson's out. I'd be inclined to go Goddard despite the slump lately, but I am worried that if New Orleans runs the ball, they're going to go heavy, and that means Juwan Johnson's not the blocking tight end. So I would go that route for that reason. And then you need one from Monty, Pittman, or Pollard. Can't play Pollard. If he scores a touchdown, God bless him, but we just haven't seen that even come close to materializing. Like I said earlier, Kansas City's tough on outside receivers, but I give Pittman the edge over Monty. Monty just hasn't been playing to the level we want lately. So I do think Pittman rates a bit of an edge. That's a coin flip. So if your gut says Monty, I get it, but it really hasn't been a great year. I got some super chats, and I got to come back to the stream. Let me type the time in there. All right, so I can come back to that. Got 2 super chats here. All right. Nacho. All right. Would I drop Otten for Strange? Good question. Otten had a down week last week. The matchup didn't be particularly great. Godwin is back, which means that's going to cut into the target share. Otten always is at his best when he's their number 2 or last year number 1 option. So you're right. Brenton Strange was playing well. He's very good releasing when he blocks, and he's a good blocker, and they're going to keep him on the field a lot. So I think I would do that. I did Trevor Lawrence when he does something decently. It's usually the middle of the field. And I know they got Myers now, and I know he plays outside a bit, but I would take Strange over Otten because I think Strange is a part of what they want to accomplish offensively. So Scott says Jacobs is out today. So that answers a lot of questions for a lot of people. When this show's over, I got to change some lineups. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for calling that, Scott, and putting the super chat on that as well. So yeah, NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reports Josh Jacobs will not play against the Vikings. The Packers let Jacobs test out his reading right from the news blurb. Let Jacobs test out his knee in warmups, but ultimately chose to shut him down for a week. Probably good news for Jacobs. Even if you're in fantasy, you're ticked, but he has a Thursday game, so that gives him 4 days to recover. They're playing tough matchup against Detroit, but he'll catch the ball in that game, so that'll be good. So yeah, no Josh Jacobs. Thank you very much, Scott, for adding that in. Much appreciate you, man. Well, that's going to make a lot of these questions easier knowing that up front now. So yeah, for sure. But yeah, all right. Well, but Josh Jacobs, that's rough. But yeah, so Emmanuel Wilson now. I have him at running back 25. Let's just make this move right now while everybody's here, and so that we can all deal with this in real time. So we will take Jacobs out, and I think we're going to move Emmanuel Wilson up. It is a good matchup. Minnesota is not great against the run. Wilson's going to get some work. I think we're going to move him up just a couple spots. I don't want to move him ahead of Walker right now. I probably do want to move ahead of Walker. You know what? I'm actually going to move him all the way ahead of Tucker. I think I'll move him all the way ahead of Tucker. That's where we're going to put him at. So we'll move him in. We'll take the upside tag off because now the upside is baked in. The upside there was tag is because he's going to get some extra work. So yeah, we'll move him to 19. Again, he probably gets 65% of the work here. Chris Brooks, do worry he steals a goal line score, but that's all right. So real time he made that fix there. All right. Big Meats, you got good morning to you as well. Bench one, half PPR, Judkins, Monty, or Tucker. If there's a week you're going to play Judkins, this is probably the one. And we've seen him. We've seen him get stacked up against bad defenses and not do great. But we also saw him score 3 touchdowns against Miami. And this is a game where Judkins could get 20 to 5 carries. I think he was 22 or 25 carries. Might have been 25 against Miami. We could see that level of work because I don't think the Raiders are running away from anybody. So I think Judkins is in. Between Tucker and Monty, it's really close. And my rankings, you'll see them. I've got them. I got Monty at 24. I got Tucker at 20. I do think Tucker's getting more work here. So I'm going to give Tucker the edge because he should carry a bit more volume. So we'll go with that. But I am going with Judkins. I have Judkins actually lower than Tucker, but I put the upside tag. I put him lower because his PPR totals have just been really rough. But I do see a world where the volume and the potential for a touchdown, they are very real. So the upside tag means a lot there on him. All right. And then next one, the bench, Chase Brown, Henderson, or Judkins. Love Chase Brown, but I don't think he's going to get the usual benefit that we like. The benefit is that team's got to drop a super high shell and he gets free yards. Now, could he catch 7 passes? Yes, he could catch 7 passes in this game, but you're in half PPR. So that minimizes a little bit. But I do think he won't see those super high shells. I think there'll be a bracket on T. Higgins, and I think they'll play their front 7 up straight because they'll want them in obvious passing situations. So I would probably bench Chase Brown based on that. Now, again, Flacco could see Chase Brown maybe his one saving grace as a dump off option, but I just can't hang the hat on that because I can't quantify that to happen. Big Meach, half PPR, Pierce, Odunze, or Tucker. You need one. So Pierce has been the most reliable. I assume you mean Sean Tucker. You could mean Trey Tucker, though. Everybody out there, if you have any possible name that's somewhat common, always drop a first name with that, okay? Just in case this happens. It could be Trey Tucker. Somebody would consider him in this bucket. So let's just say I assume it's a wide receiver question. So I think Pierce has the highest floor of this group because he has been a great floor play since week 2. And Odunze, though, is your classic boomer bust. He has a game of 20 PPR points in the last 5. He also has 3 with less than 6. So I think if you want to shoot for upside against Pittsburgh, I do think Odunze has a great opportunity. We know Caleb Williams can extend plays by buying time, and Odunze does have an advantage on a Pittsburgh secondary when they throw. So I think Odunze is your upside play, but Pierce has proven to be an amazing high floor play. So if you want safe, it's Pierce. If you'd want to swing for a little upside, then you're going to go with Odunze. Judkins or Kenneth Walker, I got them right next to each other in the rankings. Tennessee is a really good run defense. They're playing at home. They're healthy on defense now, which makes it, they had some players who are out. My rankings would say Walker gets the eyelash nudge. But again, I think Judkins, you heard me say a minute ago, he has real upside here. So I think that Judkins is more probable to score a touchdown than Walker. But again, this is completely a coin flip. When you look at the rankings, I see it that way as well. It's my lineup. Judkins has no competition for work. And I do think he can get 25 carries in this game. So I would go with him. But again, that's a coin flip. They're an eyelash apart in my rankings. And I'm all right. And Schefter's confirming the Josh Jacobs news being out. All right, Mark. Morning to you as well. Yes, things are great. We're here talking football on a Sunday, right? And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know I won't see you before then. Oh, by the way, I'll be previewing all 4 holiday games of Joe Bartle on where you're watching right now. We'll do that Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. They give you a full day before the games to get set with those. So if you're setting lineups, I definitely will cover a lot of angles on players. You'll be well armed to make your lineup decisions. If you watch that show, you always can rewind it at any point in time after the show. You don't have to catch it live. All right. But that'll be done again Wednesday morning, 10:30, be done by 11:15 Eastern. All right. So now back PPR League, you need 3 out of these 5. Jalen Warren, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Wilson, Christian Watson, Darius Slayton. You need 3 of them. I love that question. If it's my team, which do I start? That makes it easier. I would start Michael Wilson. Like you heard me say last week, he's a good stylistic fit when he plays the perimeter when Harrison's out. He was playing too much slot earlier in the year, but anyway, he's a good stylistic fit. I would definitely play Jalen Warren here. The Bears are down all three starting linebackers, and they're not a good run defense to start. And I do think Pittsburgh wants to run the heck out of the ball here. So yeah, I would go with Jalen Warren for sure, and Michael Wilson. My third one, Watson's been playing well. Pearsall had one catch for 0 yards last week. And look, he clears out space, and it's great. But until he has a game, I don't know that we want to play him. And Christian Watson as at least as a matchup on the quarterback. Jonathan Grenard, the edge rusher, is out, so that helps as well. So yeah, I would go with Watson as my third there. Great question. Let me mark them, and I got a super chat to come back to, which I will come back to in a second here. All right, super chat on the way. All right, here we go. Foxborough News, morning to you as well. 16 man half PPR. You need 2. Charbonnet, Tucker, and Tootin. Which 2 do I like the best? So, man, Tootin looked good last week, didn't he? For sure. I was very excited for that. They're playing Arizona. It's certainly not a bad matchup. Charbonnet, like we said, it's not a good matchup for interior runner like him. He can always score a touchdown, and there's that. I have Tootin ranked lower than Charbonnet. But man, because we don't know what his workload's be. Last week he was involved early, but they were blowing out the Chargers, and so that's why I have him lower because I don't think his workload is something that we can project out. So I think right now Tucker's in, and I think it's between Charbonnet and Tootin. And I have Charbonnet higher because his floor is higher. But I think if you want to swing for some upside, I think then you take the shot with Tootin because if they do what they did last week and they get both running backs heavily up, and let me tell you, everybody, something. Brenton Strange back is huge. He was blocking really well at tight end, and they've missed him. He helps their running game quite a bit. So I think if you're swinging for upside, you're going to go with Tootin, but otherwise the floor play is Charbonnet. He is bankable to get you that half. You got half PPR. He's bankable for that 6 points, which is good to have. Whereas Tootin is not necessarily bankable for that, but I believe there is upside here in that one. All right, and let's get to the 840 question here, and here we go. Okay. Mark, need 2 out of these. Downs, Pollard, DK, Slayton, Parker, Washington. I'm going with Downs. Look, if Shane Steichen game plan this one out properly, he has to realize you attack the Chiefs in the slot, and that's where Josh Downs plays. So I think he probably gets that. That's why I would recommend Downs. And then your second one, I think the sneaky one to play out of this is DK. And here's why. I think Seattle, they're like, 13-point favorites? Seattle probably gets a huge lead in this game. And there's going to be some garbage time. And DK is going to be playing a lot of snaps because we know Al Manor's out, and we already know they lost Ridley for the season. So DK is going to see a huge snap share with Van Jefferson. So DK would be my second play on that one. And I know Parker Washington's been decent. Last week he wasn't, but that's the way I would look at that. All right, let me see. This thing jumped on me, so I got to get back to where it was. Wow, that really. I had another super chat. So let me get to that super chat, but I got to just reset my question probably. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I got an 843 I got to add in there. All right, do that real quick. All right, let's get that super chat here. All right. All right, we got Shooksan. All right, good morning to you. Yoshi or Sean Tucker? I would go with Sean Tucker. Burrow was playing quarterback. I would have said Yoshi, but and I know he's going to play a ton. I get it, but he's not very good. He drops passes, and he could have a game. But I don't know how good of a game this is going to be for the Bengals offense here. Not like the Patriots are like lights out defense, but they're solid. They play fundamentally sound football, and they're not going to, there won't be concentration lapses for the most part. And so I'd go Sean Tucker. Go volumes king in fantasy football. He will get work, and I think the floor makes Tucker your better play. Can Yoshi score a touchdown? Sure. But I think Tucker's volume is where we got to lean and look at that, saying, yeah, we got to go with the volume there. All right, we got Rahendra next. 2 questions. Good morning to you. Full point PPR. Daniel Jones, Jordan Love, or Dak Prescott. Not in love with Dak's matchup. His history says, man, playing at home against Philly, he's fine. Playing against an NFC opponent at home, he's fine. He does have George Pickens and he has CeeDee Lamb, so Quinyon Mitchell can only take care of one of them at a time. They are tough on tight ends, not the best matchup for Jake Ferguson. But I still think Dak of this group is probably the way to go. Of the other one, I do think Indy wants to go in with a really run-heavy script. Jordan Love has not been great against Minnesota, and Minnesota brings pressure. And no Josh Jacobs, they might find themselves, and this is not good. They may find themselves in more obvious passing situations, but that's not good because if they are, then Minnesota can really answer that. And the offensive line for the Packers is not playing at its typical level. I would give Daniel Jones and Prescott the whirl there, and then you need one at Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Kayshon Boutte, or Slayton. Again, Pierce has been a great floor play all year. As I said, if Shane Steichen game plans this properly, Josh Downs is a big deal in this game. So Pierce is safe. Excuse me. I think Downs is your boom bust play, but if you're shooting for ceiling, I think Downs has that ability. Alec Pierce is probably more of a floor game because I don't know that his style of he has like 100 percentile, 124 air yards per game, but that doesn't really play well against Kansas City. So, but the floor will be there. So Downs would be the play for the ceiling. John, good morning. Diggs or Emmanuel Wilson? That's a good call there. I mean, anybody playing Cincinnati, and I'm like, and Cam Taylor Britt's out, and Hendrickson's out again. I almost say like anybody against the Bengals, you go wheels up. Is there a world where they run the ball so well they don't throw a lot? Yeah, that's out there. But man, there's a good chance the Patriots could drop 33, 35 points in this game. And I'd hate to be out on Diggs in that case. Emmanuel Wilson doesn't have a bad matchup. This is kind of coin flip territory. I think Wilson's safer because Wilson is going to get work. He's going to get work. He'll get a couple catches too. So he's going to get work. He's safe. But I do think that Diggs is a real attractive play because of the opponent and the success that they should have on offense here. So if it's my lineup, again, well, I'm going to say this. If you're a favorite or close in your projection, Wilson's probably the safe floor play to keep you in line with winning that close one. If you're an underdog, then I would take the swing at Diggs. Master J3, good morning. Prescott or Brissett? I flip-flopped my rankings on them. I had Brissett ahead of Prescott, and then this morning I went Prescott ahead of Brissett. It's a coin flip. And I was saying earlier, you heard me say about Dak's history against his division and against Philly has been very good. And there's something to that. And now every Philly team's been this version of their defense, but they're still, you could pick at their safeties. You could pick at their outside wide, their cornerback too. So I do give Dak the edge, but definitely don't feel shy to start Jacoby Brissett. Trevon Walker's out. He's the second best pass rusher for the Jaguars. So Brissett should have time to throw and certainly can win against the secondary there. So it's a coin flip. I'd go with Prescott by an eyelash, but trust your gut on it because it's that close. Ted or Michael Wilson? Wow, that's a good question. I probably got him super close in my rankings. Where I got Ted at 17, Wilson at 18. So that kind of answers it for you. San Francisco's been good against number one receivers. They'll just bracket him. And McMillan will get something done though. I mean, but again, his quarterback at 400 yards, I was like, he's been under 200 in all but 2 games. So I still think that's more of a joke than anything. To have that game beautifully, he had it, God bless him, but I just don't see anything repeating itself. Whereas Wilson, look, they're going to have to score some points. And we know Brissett will throw to the outside, and that's where Wilson lives. So when he's not throwing in the middle of McBride, he's throwing on the outside to Wilson. So again, I've got him an eyelash apart. So that's trust your gut territory. I do have McMillan ahead. So that's the way I would go. But I think Wilson is more upside. So I think Wilson's more of your upside play. McMillan's your floor play because McMillan's done the floor thing almost every week this season. So yeah, he's your safe play, but Wilson should have more upside. Dortch or Bam Knight. So the whole thing on that is, does Bam Knight fall in the end zone? It's that simple because he's not good. He's a terrible running back, and he's like below replacement level by like a couple rungs, but he could fall in the end zone in any given game. And that's all you're banking on with Knight. He falls in the end zone. And against Jacksonville, 30-70 shot. Dortch should get some catches. It was late last week. He had 6 catches. He did get in the end zone, but Dortch has to be on the field. I would give Dortch the edge because you're PPR. Because if Dortch gets 3 catches and Knight doesn't fall in the end zone, Dortch beat him. Tier, need 2 to hold rest of schedule, ? Corum, Anungai, Pearsall, Dobbs, Evans, Moore. I assume you mean DJ Moore. Baker Mayfield. Baker, it has to be Baker Mayfield, right? I am holding Baker Mayfield because he's getting receivers back. He'll get Godwin back. Godwin will get a little healthier. Your fantasy playoffs, cross our fingers and knock on something that Evans comes back. I don't know if and when it'll happen, but if you're going to make it that far, you'd be able to do that. Which kind of makes, I still think Pearsall's a better hold though of the rest of those players. I know he had no yards, 1 catch last week, but he was planned to be a big part of that offense, and that should happen. So those are the two I'd probably hang on to. The other, obviously, the running backs are all injury dependent if somebody goes down. Let me cough for a second. Okay, Delroy, start 3. Olave, Moore, Watson, and Dortch. I love DJ Moore, but man, last 2 weeks been horrible. He had a goose egg, and he had a 1 catch game last week. Real tough to recommend anybody start him right now. Olave's in for sure. Watson's been playing well, so you got to put Watson in there. I mean, DJ Moore's done nothing in the last 2 games, so could he do something? Yeah, but what's his ceiling been? He's at, other than that game he ran and threw for a touchdown, he hasn't even had a ceiling game. So, but. And then it comes to the Greg Dortch question. Again, he got a lot of those catches late in that one. It's Olave and Watson for sure. I still would give DJ Moore the shot here. But if your gut says Dortch, definitely trust it. Definitely trust it. Again, Moore's been terrible, but he doesn't need much for something to work out for him. And just 3 and 4 weeks ago, he had good games. Trust your gut on that one for sure, but the Dortch one's tough. Delroy, full PPR, flex, start 1. Tucker, Parker, Washington, Ramondre. I think you got to start Tucker. He's the one that has the bankable volume. I think you just got to go with volume there. It's Delroy. Somebody had the same question. So yeah, I already answered. It's going to be. You see, it's 7 and 8 in my rankings. I flipped them back. I got Dak slightly ahead of them. It's a complete gut call. They are dead even. So they both have upside. I don't know. Brissett hasn't had any downside. That's been kind of crazy, but yeah, I'd give Dak an eyelash, 51-49. Trust your gut on that one. All right, Michael, you need one, but I got to see the questions down there. I'll get to the question down a couple of things. Flacco or Darnold? You know what? I moved Flacco lower than usual this week. I moved Darnold up. When Darnold, Tennessee's hard to run on, but they're real easy to pass on. And we've seen when they get that going in Seattle, that could be one of those Darnold games like he had against Washington. So I'd play Darnold here. Flacco, if without Chase, it's a problem. And then Caleb or Brissett, appreciate it. I'm glad I've been helping out. I got Brissett ahead of Caleb. The way I see it, Pittsburgh wants to run the ball, and they should have a little problem. The Bears want to run the ball, and they should have success running it. I don't know how many pass attempts there are here, and I don't know how much scoring is in this game. When the over and under was set in this game, I laughed. I mean, talk about a game that should be an under. It should be that one. I don't know if it's gone down. Maybe I got bet down. I'm sure it got bet down because other people had to see what I saw. But it's a lot of running. So I think that I would give Brissett the edge here. I'd give Brissett the edge. Can Caleb run for 70 yards and a touchdown or 2? Yeah, he can. Do I want to predict it? Maybe not. So, but Brissett's been money since he's taken over. I'm going to roll with him there. All right, next one. Michael, all right, you're in the playoffs. High stakes playoffs already? Wow, it's week 12. That's early. Bye weeks. Oh, yuck. All right, tight end and a flex. Darnell Washington, Hawkins, and DK or Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson is likely to get a couple more targets than DK, but I trust DK to make a play a whole lot more than I trust Van Jefferson. DK get the ball in his hands, which they have at times. He's dynamic. I'd give DK the edge there at the flex. In terms of Washington and Hawkinson did score the 1 touchdown, but he's getting nothing. I mean, his quarterback's just tanking them. I would go Darnell Washington because the Bears are down 3 linebackers. Like I said, we know that passing game, they use him. I'd give Darnell Washington the edge, and I'd go with DK. All right. Let's see. Ian Rappaport, we already knew Ramondre Stevenson is expected to play. We just don't know what his role is going to be. Delroy, Prescott, or Caleb. And these are great questions. I'm going to go with Dak here. Caleb's rushing makes it interesting because, Dak hasn't had best games, but again, he's at home. Good history against Philly. I give Dak a slight edge there. For what it's worth, in one of my NFFC RotoWire Online Challenge League championship leagues, I have that same quarterback dilemma, and I didn't even. I put Prescott in and said, you know what, I can't trust Caleb there. Again, I think there's a lot of running in that game. Ferguson or Juwan Johnson. This would be closer than we think. I got him 6 and 8 in my rankings. I still am spooked by Johnson playing 50% of the snaps because they went run heavy last week, and he's not part of the run blocking package. And against Atlanta with Kirk Cousins, they might be able to follow script to that. So I have a little bit more nervousness about Juwan Johnson this week. So I would give Jake Ferguson the edge, even though Philly's been lights out against tight ends. But Ferguson is a major component of that Dallas offense. And with Quinion Mitchell maybe slowing down one of the receivers, they might need a Ferguson a little bit more too. All right, Michael, you got Kamara or well, all right. So yeah, it's just so Kamara for sure. I tell people to drop Kamara a couple weeks ago, and then of course he goes for like 110 scrimmage yards. Yeah, we all saw that coming, right? But Kamara is off the bye, and he has another easy matchup, and so I think you got to go Kamara because he's going to get volume here. So and he should get more volume than Manuel Wilson. I don't see Atlanta scoring enough points to do much of anything. So I think that run game's gonna be a big deal for New Orleans. And Michael, appreciate you. Thanks. Juwan Johnson or Pitts? Well, that's a different question. Kyle Pitts is really hard to trust. And I know you're like, who else do they have, right? William Mooney. Oh, yeah. I think he's caught 3 of 15 targets in the last 2 games. But Juwan Johnson still, even though he played half of the snaps, he still got it done for fantasy. And he's got it done 4 games in a row. Double digits, 4 games in a row, PPR. And he had those 3 double-digit games early in the season. So I just think the floor for Johnson, even when he didn't play a lot of snaps, is higher than the ceiling that Pitts has had. So you got to go Juwan Johnson, in my opinion. All right, Master J3, you got to flex about Burden, Mitchell, or Bam Knight. I think the Bears are going to put an extra tight end on the field a lot. I don't think there's going to be a ton of 3 receiver sets in this one against Pittsburgh. I don't think they want to go into the belly of that beast. Mitchell, his snap share was low, but his targets were decent, and they do throw him downfield. Now he's got to catch the ball. That's a big problem. But he does have Tyrod Taylor, so that might help. Although I'll say Justin Fields put a ball right on Mitchell last week that he dropped. It was a long play, at least 30 yards, if I remember correctly. I was a little frustrated to see that. Bam Knight, you're just praying he falls in the end zone because, again, you're probably looking at 35 yards. That's probably all you're looking at. He doesn't have a good for the run game. Knight does not have a good matchup at all, and he's not good. So I think your boom bust play would be AD Mitchell because if he catches one of those long ones, then you're set. I think Burden probably gets 2 to 3 catches in this game, and he probably is your floor play here. Trusting Knight to fall in the end zone is tough. Chris, yes, happy early Thanksgiving. Half point PPR. Tucker, Tracy, and Pearsall. Yeah, I got Tracy and Singletary both at running back 27 to 28. Detroit's not a good matchup, but Tracy could catch some passes. And, I should put an upside tag on Tracy. Actually, I'm going to put an upside tag because if Detroit gets out to the lead that the books have said that they will have like 13-point favorites, then that means they're going to have a lot of dump off passes, and Tracy could do really well in that. So I'd be inclined to play Tracy here, and I'd be inclined to play Tucker. I go with the volume. I follow the volume. Right now, Pearsall's got to have a game, I think, before you do it. It was 1 catch for 0 yards. He's got to show you something before you put him in the lineup over established options. I got a super chat, so let me just fix this real quick. Oh, time is flying here. All right, super chat. Easy goer, thank you for the super chat. There's no question attached. If you want to show you this, so if you see this, when you put in a question, there's always like super chat. There's a question underneath, like these had done. So just to get a super chat, I need you to be able to put a question in with it. Oh, wait a minute. Thomas put one in here, but so it'll be like this. So if I don't have a question, I can't address it. And I apologize for that. And there's probably hundreds of questions in there in regular streams. So I can't find if you drop one in there. Thomas, Ted McMillan or DeAndre Swift. Both are great floor plays. I think the Bears have a really good matchup because the Steelers are not a good run defense. There's a week they sold out on somebody and they did okay, but the Bears run blocking is so good. It's not one of those situations. It's not like this. It's a flawed running game. They're not a flawed running game, and I think that's going to be the whole thing for the Bears. McMillan had the great week last week and it was beautiful, but I think Swift has probably a better chance of scoring a touchdown. Um, I think Swift is going to see significant volume here. I'd give Swift the slight edge, but this really trust your gut on this one. Ted's coming off the big week, and you might be really excited. Like, I got Swift as running back 13. I've got McMillan as wide receiver 17. They're both fine plays this week. I just think Swift might have a little more ability for upside in this one. And let me see, I think I'm caught up on super chats. All right. All right, let's see here. All right, on William now. Morning to you. TD heavy scoring with yardage. Kelsey or Goddard. Right now, Kelsey has to be the way to go. First of all, the Colts are abysmal against tight ends. And the game plan, Andy Reid, I hope he saw it. He has to realize it. You have to use your tight ends against this team. And now they have Gardner and they got Charvarius Ward back at corner. So their corners are really good. So Kelsey's got to be the attack. And Goddard, he's averaging less than 30 yards in the last month. And he got a touchdown in one of those games. So you got to do that. Kelsey's been playing well. And you got a wide receiver and a flex between Judkins, Moore, Watson, Dobbs, Worthy, and Slayton. So I got Judkins here. Like I said, it hasn't been good. But if there's going to be a matchup he can get something done against, it's going to be the Raiders. And so I do think he's going to get a ton of touches here. I think the game's going to be close, so he won't get game scripted out. I think it's a great just scoring a touchdown. And of the rest of them, Watson's playing the best right now. And so of that group, is the matchup great? No, but the corners aren't the matchup is great because they blitz a lot and Love's not great, but the corners aren't very good. So I think I'm giving Watson the edge here. Go with the hot hand right now. All those other players are around equal. So I'd give Watson the edge there. I might have another super chat here. I do. All right, Chris. Knight, Gainwell, or Rashad White. Oh, man. Oof. Rashad White at 29, I have. Gainwell at 25. And Knight, I have definitely a 33, lower than that. I do think that Gainwell, he gets work every week. And last week he was getting work and he scored a touchdown before Warren left with the injury. I do think in this game against the Bears, I think it's going to, like, as I said earlier, I think there's going to be a lot of running in this game. So I think Gainwell is a secondary role, might get a little more work than usual. So I'd give Gainwell the slight edge here. All right. What we got next here? And then I'm on, that bumped me down on the time. Let's scroll down where we were at. And it'll take me a second to find. I hope everybody's having a good day so far. And we're on Jay here. Okay. Jay, good morning to you as well. Sit one in a PPR. It's ugly. Yeah, I get it. If you're going to sit one, I'm going to sit Tez Johnson because Godwin's back, and they say snap count, whatever. They always say that, and I don't know what that really means because sometimes they play the whole game if it's going well. So I just think it might. And against the Rams, they're going to get a pass rush, and the corners aren't great, but they play collectively well. I would sit Tez Johnson here. It is ugly, like you said. Pearsall, give him the whirl. I know he had a 1 for 0 last week. Parker Washington was a bit down, but they are playing Arizona. They can get a little bit done there. Disco Dave, PPR, McMillan or Olave. Olave's been great, and Shuck's getting him the ball. And they're both. I got Olave at wide receiver 11, McMillan at 17. 49ers are good at limiting number one receivers in many cases, and I think this is one they can limit. So I'd give Olave the edge here. I think Olave has a higher floor. I'd go with that. McMillan or JMO. So, this is the beauty of this job, that I don't have take lock. If a situation changes, it might change. And you heard me early in the season. I was out on Jameson Williams. I never thought that John Morton had the chops to call plays, didn't have serious experience. When defense made adjustment, I thought he wouldn't have an answer. And that's exactly what happened. Well, Dan Campbell took over, and Jameson Williams has been money 2 weeks in a row. And they're getting him on, they're not just sending him downfield, which Jared Goff struggles with that. Well, they're using him differently now. So I put Jameson Williams among the remaining receivers as wide receiver 10. He's playing right now at that level. So to me, you got to go Jameson Williams. And is he going to do that every week? No, but he's clearly heavily utilized in his offense. And the Giants, there's nothing scary about that secondary. Michael, need flex non-tight end premium. Brock Wright, Juwan Jennings, Jefferson versus Seattle. Hold on. Seattle. Is this Van Jefferson? Again, whenever you use common names, guys, give me a first name. I know it's a team signed Jamar Jefferson this week. And anyway, Justin Jefferson's playing. I might see his name in this question as well. I would be inclined to give Juwan Jennings the shot here. He is getting some work. He's on the field against Carolina. The Carolina's a good secondary, but you look at fantasy points allowed and say, oh, not a good matchup. The way the 49ers run their receivers and scheme them up, I do think is a good spot for Jennings. I'd give Jennings the edge here. All right, and we got Delroy next. Full PPR, Brissett or Baker. I got Brissett one spot ahead of Baker, and getting Godwin back helps. But when Godwin came back for the 2 games earlier this year, he wasn't great. So I really don't know what fully to expect from him here. And that said, the pass rush is very real for the Rams. Brissett's just been money every week. As you see my rankings, it's a coin flip, but I do have Brissett ahead, and I just keep rolling with that. Probably find Trey McBride for a couple touchdowns, right? Mark, quarterback in a super flex league, 2 or 3, McCarthy, Jacoby, or Danny Dimes. I'm out on McCarthy. He's so inaccurate. Oh my gosh. When you watch the highlight films and you see the good throws, you're like, oh my, yeah, he's good. He's terrible. And they're playing Green Bay, who's a good pass defense. So can like I said, he's had a couple of games for fantasy where he's gotten it done and been terrible, but to keep banking on that, it's tough. So Brissett and Danny Dimes, I don't think there's any reason to shy away from them here. And thanks for recommending. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. Delray, Coker, or Tillman. Man, again, we get blinded a bit by Young throwing for 400 yards. It's like when he's a sub 200 quarterback in every game but 2. But Tillman isn't in a much better spot. And I really don't trust Shedeur Sanders. He was 4 for 16 last week. And Tillman does his best work at the intermediate and downfield levels. And, man, Sanders is rough. I'm giving Coker the edge. And I love Cedric Tillman, but I just really hard to back Shedeur Sanders because and I tell you, my RotoWire teammate Mario Puig brought up a good point in the XM show yesterday. He's thinking Bailey Zappi finishes this game. So if you have like no quarterback to start in a 2 quarterback league and you have like a donut in there, you have a player who's like inactive, puts Bailey Zappi in because he might play some today and get you a couple points. Delegizi, good morning. You need to sit one. Genti, Mooney, or Odunze. Well, we're gonna, yeah, but you know what? Genti had 6 catches last week, so he may not have done much, but he had 6 catches, and he always has a chance to score. Mooney, you guys at Mooney. His quarterback's arm is toast. Kirk Cousins has like no arm left, and Mooney caught 3 of 15 targets the last 2 weeks. So, and we heard that he had broken his collarbone. That's what he's coming back from. So I just would sit. I just really have no inclination to trust Mooney right now. Now watch, that said he goes for 150 and 2 touchdowns, but I just don't think Kirk could throw the ball anymore. So Juwan Johnson or Hunter Henry. So Juwan Johnson is your floor play. Henry, since week 4, hasn't done much, but Henry has the mother of all great fantasy matchups in Cincinnati. So Henry could have a game here, but they may not need him. They may run the ball. They got Diggs going. They got Booty going. They may not need Henry, but there's an upside path because if they look at the game plan and they're like, yeah, you know what, we got to attack the middle of the field, then Hunter Henry's in for a great game. So, but it's risky because you don't know what the coaching staff's going to do. So, Juwan Johnson's been 4 straight games. He's been money, and there's no reason to think that this wouldn't. And again, you look at fantasy points against, and Atlanta's, they're like top 3. He's a slot receiver. Juwan Jennings is a slot receiver, and he's a good one at that. Flacco or Bryce Young. Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you this, Joshua. If you bought into the hype of the 400-yard game, a lot of people have. They're like, oh, this is Bryce Young. All right, if you buy into it, then start him. I like I said, I see the same guy I've seen for 10 of 12 weeks, and it's somebody I don't want in my lineup. Flacco doesn't have a good matchup. He doesn't have a good matchup. But he's got T. Higgins, and he's got some tight ends, and he's gotten a bit done. New England doesn't have a devastating pass rush. I think that's the one saving grace for Flacco here. He might have a little more time than usual to throw the ball. So I would be inclined to just go with Joe Flacco. my disdain for Bryce Young knows no limits. As a fantasy option, as a person, he's great. But that's all that matters. Kareem Hunter, Michael Pittman. Um, if Kansas City does it right, they want to get a little balance today, and no DeForest Buckner on the interior definitely helps him. And Hunt has a better chance of scoring a touchdown. He should get some volume here. I don't think Indy runs away with it. I think Hunt is a solid play, but Pittman is going to probably get some volume here. I think Pittman gets 5 catches, and at the end of the day, that makes him safer than Hunt. So the safe play is Pittman. Hunt always could punch in a short touchdown or two, so he's kind of your boom bust play. I think Pittman, even though he's been volatile himself, I think he gets 5-6 catches here. I'd give him the edge for me. All right, Delroy, full PPR, start Tootin, Pierce, or Washington. Pierce is in. Pierce has been money since week 1. I think he's been under 48 yards once. That sounds about right. The other two, again, I really don't know what Tootin's role to be. He was involved early, but it was a blowout last week, so he got more and more work as the game went on. He left it one early to an ankle, but he's fine from that. Parker Washington kind of slunk back a bit last week. And remember, they do get Brenton Strange back. So Strange may be taking some of those middle of the field targets. I'd probably go with Bashal Tootin and Alec Pierce here. Close on Washington for sure. All right, Delroy, Parker Washington or Michael Pittman. I'm going to go with Pittman. I have Pittman significantly ranked. And I just said, I really think that Brenton Strange is going to command some of those middle of the field targets. All right, let's see what we got here. Easy goer. Good morning to you as well. Thank you. Very nice of you. 2 receivers and a flex. Devontae Smith, George Pickens, J-Mo. Oh, that could be Javonte or Jameson Williams. I don't know which one you mean. Chase Brown, Pearsall, or Pittman. Again, remember, when you use a common name, any name that could be repeatable from another player in the league, just always dump that first name for me. Devontae Smith, I know there's the rugged weeks like last week. I don't know how you don't roll with him against Dallas. I think we got to go with him as a receiver there. And Pickens, the same thing. Pickens isn't going to be every snap on Quinyon Mitchell. There's times CD Lamb's going to line up outside. Pickens, even in that first game against Philly in week 1, he had like 60 yards, I think, top of my head. It's like he did okay. I don't remember the yards, but he was fine. And then that weather delay hit, and that screwed everything up. And so I would go with them. And then, well, honestly, whether it's Javonte or J-Mo, that'd be my third. I don't like Chase Brown's matchup because they don't have Chase, which won't open the field up. Like, that's what he counts on. Pearsall, again, we need to see a game first. Pittman's close, but whether you have Javonte or J-Mo as your Jay Williams, I think both are substantially ahead of Pittman in that category. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, I don't do kickers. Kickers are all luck, and I've got 0 of that. So anytime I tell you a kicker, it'd probably be like the opposite one. So yeah, you know what? Kickers, I'm sorry. It's all luck. I just got nothing on kickers. I fortunately in leagues that either don't have or have a team kicker, but Judkins or Brees Hall. I got to go with Brees Hall here. I do think Judkins has real upside, and he could go off. He hasn't, but he could. I do think my guess is that Tyrod Taylor will dump the ball to Brees Hall. Brees Hall's only had a couple targets in the last 3 games total. I have to think he gets back to that 6 target way. And I think Brees Hall, if he gets targets, he's going to eat as a receiver. So I think I'm excited that Tyrod Taylor's a quarterback for him. And honestly, in the deep leagues, there are leagues I got to start John Mechie. He played like 80% of the snaps last week, and he 3 for 30 and a touchdown. But I do like Tyrod Taylor with him. I think that could work. Drover is Jennings, Dubs, Pearsall, Addison, or Pierce. I'm going with Pierce. Pierce has had the greatest floor of them all, and it's been like consistent. Yeah, and obviously that's a great question because they're all very, very close. But I give Pierce the edge. He has just been playing great. He hasn't had a bad game all year. He hasn't had like a bad one. Next one, Von Avery. Good morning to you as well. Half PPR. Need 1 for the flex. Washington, Dortch, Carter, Mechie. I just mentioned Mechie or DK. So I do think Michael Carter catches 4 to 6 passes in this game. There's that. I think he has somewhat of a floor, but counting on him, good luck with that, right? Personally, I like Mechie. DK's got a good shot too. But if Seattle keeps their starters on defense, then it's going to be ugly. If they get a big lead and pull some, then DK could get some late work. I think Mechie's going to be a play here because Baltimore's a game on Thursday. They're a huge favorite. If they get out to a big lead, they got a game Thursday. So they may relax some of the key starters on defense in the second half. And I think Mechie can get some garbage time here. I'd go with Mechie. Dortch is close. Dortch is close. Brian. Yeah, thanks for suggesting. Hit that like button. Appreciate you. Judkins or Emmanuel Wilson. So I have Emmanuel Wilson rated higher by a couple of spots. He's in a healthy environment for scoring, but that upside tag on Quentin John Judkins means something to me because again, I think he's going to get volume. Every team stacking the box against him. The quarterbacks really hurt him, but I do think he could break a big run or two. If it's my lineup, I'm using the upside tag and I'm going with Judkins, but certainly Wilson is a very, very viable play there as well. Half PPR, Emmanuel Wilson or Breece Hall. You heard me talk Breece Hall a moment ago. I do think he's going to get back involved as a receiver, so Breece Hall for sure. Ball Maniac, thank you for the recommendation there. Need to. Spears, Tucker, and Tootin. Tucker should have the most bankable volume of the three. Spears is between like 7. He's been 7+ PPR points in every game because they trail. He's catching passes. And I think that's something we can really bank on here against Seattle. He's going to catch passes. He's going to be heavily involved. Tootin's a nice play, but I think Tucker's volume and Spears' consistency is the way I want to go, and they're going to need him. Oh, someone's trying to wake up James. That's funny. Now, James comes on at the second hour. James comes in the second hour. We do a little transition for like 10, 15 minutes, and then I let James cook the rest of the way. Julian, full PPR, pick 2, 1 running back, 1 flex. Swift, Monangai, Singletary, Juwan Johnson or Otten. So you need 1 running back, 1 flex. Swift for sure. Swift's a clear lead back there. I'd go Juwan Johnson next. Again, I was a little nervous about the snap share last week, but he double-digit PPR points in the last 4 games. It's really hard to go away from that. Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker. I've got Aaron Jones a few spots higher. He's been catching the ball. J.J. McCarthy's not good, but he's been dumping the ball off to Aaron Jones, and I think that's helpful. And Aaron Jones is playing a very, very high snap share. So he ultimately, and now his touches haven't been through the roof, but he gets leverage touches. Kenneth Walker does not have a good matchup here. I give Aaron Jones the edge. All right, Robert, good to see you. Robert, it's been a while. Need a flex. Michael Wilson, Christian Watson, Yoshi, or Jennings. I think Wilson's your floor play. I think, again, it's a good stylistic fit on the perimeter for Brissett. I don't think there's anything scary about the matchup. I think they're going to need to score some points. I think Watson is the boom bust play because we've seen him score a couple touchdowns last week. But I think Wilson has to be used. They need him, and he fits with his quarterback well. I'd start Wilson if it was my lineup. If you're swinging for just hoping for the home run, then you might take a shot at Watson. But I think Wilson has a really high floor here. All right, next one. Pierce, Booty, Watson, Myers. And Myers came on last week, and his snaps are going up. Honestly, I think Myers is the safest of these. I think Myers is the safest, but I think again, like I just told the last question, Robert, I think you want to swing for upside, then you got to consider Watson because he looks like he's doing well right now with Jordan Love, and there's nothing scary about the cornerback matchup. But I think your floor play is Myers, and I love Alec Pierce, but I think Myers right now is really emerging into that possession role for them, and he does get red zone targets too. So there's that, and Brenton Strange is back. That could be a little bit of nick on that. Michael, 16-team PPR kick return bonuses. Hawkinson, Jefferson, Brock Wright, or Gunnar Olszewski. I think Gunnar Olszewski is going to start to get phased down. Slayton's back this week. So, and I don't know how much he returns. I'm going to be full disclosure. I don't follow the return yardage all locks. I usually really do the, receptions, rushes, touchdowns, all that. So you'll know the rushing yardage better than I do. If he's been crushing it in the return yardage game, then you got to think about that. But otherwise, I think Van Jefferson's your play. They're going to trail by a lot, probably. He's been getting targets. He's not good, but I think he's the best path to volume. Hockenson is only getting a couple catches for a few yards a game. All right, next one. Flex, Monty or Godwin. I will go with Monty here. The Giants are not a good run defense, so I think there's a game where Monty can get going. Monty has a better chance of scoring. Godwin, again, I don't know what this means, but it was said that he could be on a snap limit in his game back, and he wasn't great in the 2 games he played this year. I'd like to see Godwin make a difference before I use him in the lineup, especially since you have Monty, who hasn't been great, but I do think there's a matchup that we can look at and say, yeah, he's got a decent shot of scoring a touchdown. Darnold or Danny Dimes. I've got them 11 and 12 in my rankings of remaining quarterbacks this week, so super, super close. I do think Indy wants to run more than they pass here, and I think that Sam Darnold, it's a tough run matchup against Tennessee, and we've seen Darnold go off in these games, so I think Darnold just earns the slight edge that I gave him. All right, next one. Jeff, morning to you. You need 2 out of 4. Tootin, Downs, Watson, Michael Wilson. So Michael Wilson for sure. Again, we like the increased usage from Tootin last week. He was involved early, but again, the later usage, it was a blowout, and then he hurt his ankle. So I get all that. So I get why he's strongly to consider. But I probably would go with Christian Watson in my second because they need him. The Packers need him, and the cornerback matchup isn't scary. Josh Downs is in consideration, but I can't trust the coaching staff to use him right. This is a week where the matchup advantage is in the slot against Kansas City, as opposed to the perimeter. If they went that route, but I can't quantify or prove they're going to do it. That's why I've got to go with Watson and Wilson. But if your gut was leaning Downs, this would be the week to play him because he really does have a great matchup. It all depends if the coaching staff's going to think that way. Ravens, good morning. Caleb or Brissett? Yeah, I got him 8 and 10. They're so close. I do have Brissett higher because his floor has been better. He's been more reliable. I do think there's a strong world that the Bears and the Steelers run the ball a lot today, and both should have success. So that means Caleb is volatile. He could have a big game, but it also can be one of those floor games, and you don't want him your quarterback. Brissett really hasn't had a floor game. He's been very good, and I don't think. And Trevon Walker is out, so that's their second best edge rusher. So that helps Brissett a little bit as well. Jose, would I start Stevenson over Genty? No, I wouldn't. First of all, I don't know what the coaching staff's going to do with Stevenson, but I have to think it's going to be really hard to go back to the way things exactly were with Henderson and Stevenson because Henderson's played so well. It has to be at least closer. So I definitely would say, yeah, Genty, look, he hasn't been good. 6 carries for 7 yards last week, but he did catch 6 passes. And his offensive line terrible, and I know Cleveland's a bad matchup, but I still got to say, you got to take your shot there. James Koh, good morning. Happy week 12.
Oh, man, I can't believe we're here at week 12, man. This is awesome. I love it.
My goodness, Sleeper King is here. James, we didn't go over a whole lot of an actor, but one we all knew. Ramondre Stevenson's back in the mix. He's active. What's his role going to be? We don't know, but what do you think?
I'm not 100% sure, but again, I mean, the one thing is that he's still, I think, a little bit banged up. If he was this questionable coming in, I have to imagine that, his snaps will be somewhat limited. Obviously, Travion Henderson was extremely explosive as well. So I think what I've been saying all week is that Travion starts at 50% snap share and then just goes up, right? So I would probably put him around. I'd probably put Ramondre around 40% if I had to take an educated guess. Today, Travion sees 60%, and man, the thing is, they don't even have any other healthy running backs, So. Obviously Travion, a very, very, very strong play this week.
And Rashad Bateman's out, not a big deal, but they're playing the Jets. If somebody's in a really deep league, nobody's asked this question today. DeAndre Hopkins, he hasn't done anything, but he's probably going to play more.
Yeah, I circled him too. I think Tylan Wallace will actually get a little bit more burn too. So, but no, I'm not really trusting any of these other secondary pass catchers. Look, it's either Zay Flowers or Mark Andrews for me, and that's pretty much it. They spread the ball around a little bit, and again, Nuke just doesn't look great. Yeah, exactly.
That's how I see it. One more. Mason Rudolph gets the start for Aaron Rodgers. actually, if they need to throw, he can buy an ounce of time, which Rodgers can't do. So maybe it helps Metcalf. But I just think this game is run, run, run. The Bears are down all three linebackers in this one. What are your thoughts on the
Yeah.
flow of that game?
Look, Jalen Warren is back, right? Like he's going to play this week. He had a little bit of a injury scare, and I still think that Kenneth Gainwell is an extremely strong play. You know, if you need a running back, I think Gainwell's in a really good spot. Can I say this? I wrote this in my matchups column, but the Steelers run outside, have an outside run rate at the fifth highest in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bears, Jim, they allow over 6 yards a carry on
Horrible.
outside runs, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
then we're talking about their linebacker core being out as
Three.
well.
Oh my! And
What?
as bad as they are, the backups can't be better.
That's what I'm saying, right? So, like, again, I think that Jalen Warren's in an absolute smash spot, but go ahead and give me Kenneth Gainwell as well. I'd be surprised if Kenneth Gainwell doesn't play 40% of the snaps today.
Same.
Again, given that kind of injury thing. So, you know, again, he's another player where we're starting at 40% and then we're just going up from there, right? And with 40% snap share against the Chicago Bears run defense, man, I really like him as a sleeper play this week.
You know, James, I saw the over and under. I remember it was 47.5. And I'm like, that's high. These
That's
teams are
very
going to run the
high.
ball all day. So,
I
yeah, I
know.
like the under on that game. I don't know if it's changed. It's probably got bet down. But when I saw that, my eyes got big. It's like, now, of course, you're
Yeah.
going to score 70 points end of the day. But we know how that goes. All right, super
Right.
chat question. The Mark Aram Show asked, TD only. Sit one.
Wow.
Godwin, Odunze, Wandale, Tucker, or Tucker. I assume that means Trey Tucker.
Yeah, I think so. I think if I had to sit one, it's probably Godwin. And he's in a game script, I think, that, you know, favors scoring. But that being said, limited complement of snaps this week. Coaching staff's already talked about how they're trying to limit him a little bit. And yeah, I think Wandale's in a really good spot. I think Odunze's in a good spot. Man, how bad has Odunze been? And over the last, you know, five weeks or so, right? Like that's been a surprise to me.
Because all the Bears want to do is run the football. They don't want to
Yeah,
pass,
I know
which is
it's
weird.
crazy.
Yeah, let's remake Detroit. All right, well, let's get off that. Let's go back to we have a 10:07 question from Michael. All right, quick one. Or never a quick one. Oh, it's a defense question. Patriots against Cincinnati or the Rams against Tampa Bay?
I think for me, I probably take the Rams. Just I think overall a better defense. And you know, this is the funny thing, Jim. Sometimes when games are supposed to be a little high scoring, because the Rams Tampa Bay is supposed to be a little higher scoring than the Patriots
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati. What does that mean? That means you're exposed to more sacks, you're exposed
Yes.
to more interceptions,
Yes.
and you're just exposed to more turnovers in general, right? And like for me, fantasy defense has become has not become at all about scoring. Like the scoring aspect of it is irrelevant now. It's mostly just you got to get sacks, you got to get turnovers.
Exactly. And when that question comes in, the better pass rush. New England doesn't have a great pass rush. The Rams do.
Right.
That helps you get your fantasy opportunities, like James said, when you're in those passing situations. Next questions. In a PPR, need a receiver and a flex. Kayshawn Boutte, Darius Slayton, Christian Watson, Mark Andrews, Pollard. We know Jacobs is out. And then Hunt is in there. So you need a receiver and a flex from that batch.
I think I actually answered this question online, but it was Watson and Hunt for me. Jacobs is out, as we know. Pacheco is out as well, so we could start Kareem Hunt. I think that game should be pretty high scoring, so should be some touchdown exposure there for Kareem Hunt, which I like. I know he hasn't played particularly well, but that's okay. And then Christian Watson has been playing really well
Right.
for Green Bay, right? So, and the fact I also like the fact that Golden is out for Green Bay, taking away another outside wide receiver. So again, just more play time, I think, available here for Christian Watson too.
Oh, yeah. And didn't even see that because I was doing the show. So yeah, he is in Matthew Golden inactive. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
rough for the people that drafted him this year. I wasn't
know.
one of
It's
them.
been tough.
Told people to avoid them.
Same.
That's just me, though. All right. So we
Same.
got, and one more thing on the Kareem Hunt thing. Again, DeForest Buckner is out, and that's an interior run defender. I know they got Grover Stewart there, but when you're looking at a goal line touchdown, there's no DeForest Buckner. That certainly increases
That's
the
huge.
odds of Hunt punching it in from the one. All right. Vinny wants to know, need two, Mooney, Dobbs, or Worthy, who is playing today. So first, let's answer that one. Need two of those three.
You know, I think I'm leaning Mooney and Dubs here. Although I don't know why, but Jim, I just got a weird feeling about Worthy. I just feel like he's gonna get a touchdown today. I don't know why. I just feel like he might. So I think I'm gonna go Mooney and Dubs here. But man, I'm very tempted to tell Vinny here, Mooney and Worthy. But I look, I like Mooney. He's gonna see a ton of targets. Can Kirk get the ball out?
I
That'd be
was telling
great.
people, James Mooney,
Like,
the
I don't
good news, he's
know.
been 15 targets in the last 2 games. The bad news, he got 3 of them.
Oh god. I mean,
Oh
that
my
can't
gosh.
hold up, right? Like he's
You,
got to catch at least 50, 60% of these balls, right? Like it's got to
oh
happen.
my
I don't
gosh.
know,
Let's
man.
let's let's even take a 7 catch for 9 yard game. And PPR is a good game.
Golly. Yeah, you know? I mean,
Oh, give me something.
but that's the funny thing. Like that's where I've got him projected, right? Like around 6 to 7 receptions here. You know, we're talking like 70 to 80 yards. So I think like he's in line for a good solid 13 to 15 PPR points today.
Hopefully he gets that. They need to do something. But man, Michael Penix wasn't accurate, and Kirk Cousins can't throw the ball. It's bad situation in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
it's
I
bad.
feel bad for Bijan Robinson because you
I
think
know.
about how much attention he's going to see now that
Yeah.
no team is going to respect their passing game. Actually, that helps Mooney a bit. But anyway, we got a super chat question: Chase Brown or Jamison Williams?
Um. Oh man. Wow. This one's tough. Look, JMO is just. I think he's a must start moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
being said, Chase Brown. Golly, he's been playing pretty good football too. Look, I think if you want floor, obviously you're going Chase Brown. If you want ceiling, you're going JMO. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna lean on that upside of JMO and just see what happens.
Yeah, and James, I was telling people Chase Brown counts on Jamar Chase being on the field because defenses have to play the shell so he gets free yards.
Sure.
With no Chase, the defense is going to bracket Higgins and they're going to play it up front. They're not going to give free yards. So I'm with you on that one. I think JMO gets an edge. And then, oh man, defenses. New Orleans or Atlanta, same game. Which side do you like?
Wow. I don't love either one. I'm surprised there's nobody else on the waiver wire. New Orleans and Atlanta are your best streaming options right now. That's tough. Look, I think if I had to go any which way, like I might lean on New Orleans here because again, I'm not really trusting Kirk Cousins.
Mm-mm.
Not very mobile. I think he'll take a lot of sacks, and if his arm strength is completely and utterly gone, then picks will be available too.
And they're at home. And that's also a nice little tiebreaker when you're stuck on some of these questions. Let's
Yeah.
do one more. James had a 10:09 question here. Let me find that one for you. And we answered that one already. So I think we are, no, we answered that one already. So we are on here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect. We're on Andrew's question. Last minute trade giving Dowdle and Odunze for Waddle and Kenneth Walker III. What would you do?
I'm probably holding on to Dowdle and Odunze. Look, I like Waddle a lot, but the offense is obviously very extremely up and down, very hard to trust. And Walker, let me just say, I am the biggest Walker stan. I've been talking about Walker all off season, and he was one of my favorite value picks. But you know, the bottom line is he's just not getting goal line carries, right? Like
Yeah.
since week, I have this number somewhere, but I think just off the top of my head, since week number 4, I think he's gotten 6 goal line carries. And meanwhile, I do know this for sure. Since week number 4, he only has 25% of goal to go carries. 25%. That's it. 75% to everybody else because they've incorporated Sam Darnold. They've incorporated A.J. Barner now at the goal line. So that makes it George Holani is getting goal line carries. I mean, again, the upside for Kenneth Walker is extremely low. Last week, Jim, when he got that goal line carry, again, they're running hurry up. They didn't want to allow the opposing
Right.
defense to get their subs in, so Seattle then just goes hurry up. They don't allow the defensive subs to come in. That's the only time he got. I mean, come on. It's hard to rely on that, you know. So I'll stay with Dowdle and Odunze.
James Koh and everybody out there, happy Thanksgiving. Remember the Wednesday show. I'll break down all 4 holiday games, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, but you
I
watch
love
it
it.
late. James Koh, keep doing great work. Appreciate you and have a wonderful day.
All right, man. You too, pal. I love you, Jim.
I love you too, man. Bye.
All right. Let's go. Let's get after it here. Fantasy Meatball, what's going on? I need to sit one. Dowdle at San Francisco. Judd, first of all, Fantasy Meatball, I love you, pal. The format of this question, perfect. You got the matchups there as well. It's beautiful. Sit one. Dowdle at San Francisco. Judkins. or Ginty at Cleveland. I think if I am sitting one, I am Cinty. Sadly, I'm sitting Ginty, I think. Yeah, you currently have Ginty out of your lineup. Yeah, look, Cleveland is such a good, strong defense, and this one has a very low total projected as well. So yeah, I am gonna go ahead and sit down Ginty. As much as that pains me. And by the way, I do think that there will be an emphasis on Ginty this week. I think Pete Carroll is looking at that situation and saying, "Okay, guys, what are we doing out here, right?" So I would be surprised, to be honest with you, if Ginty doesn't get a good 10 to 12 carries in this one, and hopefully they target him 3 or 4 times, and we get a double-digit PPR performance. But again, if I'm chasing it just a little bit here, you got to like Dowdle, obviously getting a ton of snap share, and he's running really well. Judkins, I think, is playing pretty well too. So and Las Vegas is, well, let's just say they're struggling defensively for sure, whether we're talking on the line or in that defensive secondary too. So I'll take Judkins and Dowdle right there. Okay, Adventures from the Q. What a handle! I love these creative handles that you guys come up with, man. Full point PPR, you need a flex. Michael Wilson, Jalen Warren, or Sean Tucker. Man, chat, what are we doing with Tucker? I wrote about this too, because people are like, "Oh, Tucker played too well. Like you can't sit him down." Guys, do y'all remember 2024? Week 6, 2024. Sean Tucker, he had 200 yards scrimmage, nearly 200. I think he had like 192 or something, right? And he scored 2 touchdowns. The very next week, he played less than 20% of the snaps, and he just was never fantasy relevant for the rest of the year. So I'm not saying that Tucker's a bad player. I actually think he's a really good player. And obviously it's a new year, new situation. But I can't totally trust that Tucker is going to play, 50, 60% of the snaps. I mean, shoot, Rachaad White still ended up playing 60% of the snaps, right? Tucker did what he did, 3 touchdowns on a 46% snap share. So I don't know. I've got some doubts. And LA, I think, is in a really good spot too, right? Like the Rams are just so good defensively, man. If I'm going to pick one flex here, I think it might be Michael Wilson. We go lean back on the guy that got you, 15 receptions for 185 yards. Let's go back to that guy. Full point PPR. Let me go back to Michael Wilson right there. Okay. Charbonnet or Algier? Charbonnet. I'm going to say Charbonnet for sure, mostly because Algier, that game does not look like it's going to score a lot of points, man. Let me look at this over-under here for y'all real quick. Atlanta, New Orleans, 38.5 is the projected total in that game. Atlanta is anticipated to score 18.5. I believe it's the second lowest of the week. Yeah, third lowest of the week. Only Tennessee and Minnesota projected to score fewer points than. Oh, you know what? Cleveland's in there too. So but as we know, 18.5 is not a great implied total for Atlanta. So I will take Charbonnet. They continue to lean on him, especially in goal-to-go situations. Again, Seattle, implied total, 26.75. One of the highest of the week, right? They're a 13-point favorite over Tennessee since Seattle's on the road, but they've been road warriors, man. They've been amazing on the road. They have a 13-point, projected win total here. And yeah, that leans into a heavy run game script. So yeah, I like Charbonnet. One of my favorite sleeper running backs this week for sure. Jose Avalos, what's cracking, my dude? At running back, you got Saquon Barkley. Blah 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 blah. I don't even understand what the question is, my guy. Too many names. Avalos, I tell you what, bro. Hit me back. Narrow this down. I'm not going through 19 different players to pick 3. You know what I'm saying? I know you I know you have a better question in there. Pare that down for me and get back to me, brother. Joshua Frederick, Pittman. What is this? Pittman, Wendell Robinson. Oh, Pittman, or I think you meant to say or Wandale Robinson, PPR. Damn, what did you? What are you texting me on your phone, bro? Joshua Frederick, come on, my guy. What is going on over Pittman or Wandale Robinson? We still have the Jameis effect going on here. I think I might lean on Wandale Robinson, which is sad, but crazy to say. I do like I do like Pittman a lot, but the matchup against KC is pretty tough. Pretty tough. It's supposed to be a high scoring game though, 50.5. It's tied for the highest of the weekend, right? So let me look up one little stat here for you. Against outside wide receivers, what does KC do against outside wide receivers here? Okay, they allow the 7th fewest fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers. Let's see here. Terry McLaurin was the last outside wide receiver to play well against him. Oh, I guess Troy Franklin did 12.4. That's okay. But that was on 8 targets, 4 grabs for 84, so he did make one big play there. Meanwhile, other guys like Terry McLaurin had 14.4. JMO in week 6 had 18.6. BTJ had 12. So actually, it's not too bad. Zay Flowers had 14.4. Yeah, it's actually not too bad here. So even though they've allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers, in terms of, if they're even halfway decent, they've done all right against KC. I think I might actually lean Pittman right here. Better player, higher anticipated score, which means you're going to get touchdown exposure, better touchdown exposure. You know what? Go ahead and give me Michael Pittman. Give me Michael Pittman right here. Would you go with Gainwell or Jacoby Myers? I'm going Gainwell. Epic trick shots. Hey, give me Gainwell because again, we talked about how Chicago's down a bunch of linebackers. Pittsburgh has the 5th highest outside run rate in the NFL, and Chicago allows over 6 yards a carry. I think about 6.1 yards per carry to running backs who run to the outside. That's the second worst mark in the NFL. So yeah, I like Gainwell here. I think Gainwell plays. If I had to guess, I think he plays 50% of the snaps. 50% of the snaps, I think Gainwell does extremely well. So go ahead and give me Gainwell right here. Jaylen Warren is active. Rodgers is out. BTJ also out as well. No surprise there. So yeah, go ahead and give me Gainwell. Give me Gainwell. I like it. Jacob Ander. Caleb Williams or Brissett. Oh, we're going Brissett. Flex DJ Moore or Singletary PPR. Singletary. Oh, Devin Singletary. Okay. DJ Moore or Devin Singletary PPR. I am going to go Devin Singletary. He's playing about 50% of the snaps. It's a real true, split workload there in New York. Again, I think Jameis ups the ceiling here for the scoring potential for New York as well. Will he get some checkdowns? Maybe. But yeah, go ahead and give me Singletary. And the other thing too, Singletary's getting pretty much the majority of the goal to go carries right there. I'll give you one thing here. Hold on. Devin Single, because I have a stat on him. So he played 48% of the snaps last week. Tracy, 52. Singletary got literally every single goal to go carry. He touched the ball 6 times from inside the 10 last week. 6 times from inside the 10. Do y'all remember what I said about Kenneth Walker? He's touched the ball 6 times since week 4 from inside the 10. What? That's wild. That Devin Singletary. That's wild. Trywan Tracy, meanwhile, 0. 0 carries from inside the 10. I love Tracy. Why do I love these running backs that don't get goal line carries, man? I don't know, dude. But Tyrone Tracy, I like Tyrone Tracy. But again, he's in a 50-50 split, playing for a Giants offense that is not great. And he's getting 0 goal line work right now. So yeah, give me Devin Singletary, the guy that they're trusting around the goal line right now. And oh, by the way, he's still playing 50% of the snaps. I actually, from a usage standpoint, I think Devin Singletary is better than Zach Charbonnet. You know what I mean? Everyone's considering Zach Charbonnet. No one's considering Devin Singletary. So, yeah, go ahead and give me Singletary right there. Unless something changes, man. Something can always change, brother. They could always be like, hey, you know what? It ain't working over here. We got to go to Tyrone Tracy, but I haven't seen anything that would indicate that. Justin Vetter, PPR start two. Worthy, Addison, Dortch. Not that interested in Dortch. I know he had a really nice game, but San Francisco's been giving up a ton of production to slot receivers. I think he falls back to the wayside this week. If I'm going to start two, I'll say Worthy and Addison. I mean, obviously, all three of these guys extremely high risk players. I don't know why, but I just feel like Worthy's going to score a touchdown today, y'all. I don't know what it is. And Addison is. Look, man, it's JJ McCarthy. I don't feel great about it. Okay, but Addison is fine. I think he got double digit PPR points for you last week, right? So yeah, go ahead and give me Worthy and Addison. Dortch is interesting. I just, yeah, I'm going to lean away from Dortch on this one, though. Jeremy Alcarian. Standard League. Okay, non-PPR. Dinosaur, I love it. You need a running back in a flex spot. Chase Brown, David Montgomery, Rome, Emeka. Okay, so we're definitely playing Emeka. That's for sure. So that's your flex. Okay, so now at running back, it's either Chase Brown, David Montgomery. Oh gosh, and I just benched Romo Dunze out of nowhere, didn't I? Wow. Okay, that's tough. But you know what? I still got to go with it. I think Emeka. Yeah, give me Emeka Ibuka right here. Better spot overall. Let me give you some stats here real quick here, and actually let me just double check. But okay, Chicago. Oh no. Sorry. LA for Tampa Bay, right? Like, what do they do against outside wide receivers? Here we go. LA Rams. Yeah, they give it up, right? They're bottom 12. They're bottom 12 against outside wide receivers. I think they'll be fine. Juwan Jennings got him for 17. JSN got him for 20. Rashid Shaheed in week number 9, when he was still with the Saints, got him for 12. They'll be, I think he'll be fine. I think Emeka will be fine. Higher scoring game, better touchdown exposure overall. Give me Emeka Ibuka. And then I'll take Chase Brown right here. I know what Jim was saying, but give me the starter over the backup. You know what I mean? Give me the starter over the backup. Steven Sorrell, I believe. Full PPR. Emmanuel Wilson now that Jacobs is out, or Kareem Hunt. This one's an interesting one. I think I'm leaning Kareem Hunt just because, again, a lot of points are anticipated to be scored here. Kareem Hunt's a really good touchdown maker, y'all. Is he good between the 20s? No, absolutely not. He's terrible between the 20s. But once we get inside the red zone, he like turns on the switch. I don't know what's going on. Emmanuel Wilson is fine. I don't think he's a great player. I think he's fine. So yeah, let me and again, let me look up one stat here for you. Let me see what Minnesota does against inside handoffs, and this will help me determine here. But Minnesota against inside runs actually allows 3.65 yards per carry, fifth best in the NFL. 2.82 yards after contact, sixth best in the NFL. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and again, the reason I bring this up is that Green Bay has one of the highest inside run rates in the NFL. Emmanuel Wilson, who I think is better suited for outside runs, doesn't really matter. Maybe explains why he does't do that well in this system. But again, they're going to lean on those inside runs quite a bit. And Minnesota has been really stingy on these inside runs, man. I, again, will I'll take Kareem Hunt right there, brother. Okay, Fantasy Meatball, he's back again. Darnold versus Tennessee. I like Darnold versus Tennessee. Daniel Jones against KC, 6-point passing touchdown. Man, all right, dude. I appreciate you, brother. Okay, let's go. So, go ahead and give me Darnold. I'll take Darnold right here. Tennessee has been really giving it up. I actually wrote about Darnold as one of my favorite sleeper quarterbacks this week. Okay, let's see. The 3 of the last 4 quarterbacks that they have faced have scored 23 or more fantasy points. I know Darnold has been absolutely atrocious the last 2 weeks. I get it. But if you look at where the Tennessee Titans are weak, they're weak at outside corner. right? They've allowed a 71% completion rate to outside wide receivers. That's dead last in the NFL. What does that mean? That means really good things for JSN. That means really good things for Rashid Shaheed. And Sam Darnold, I think, does the best when he can let it flow to these outside wide receivers. Oh, by the way, they also give up big plays. Does Tennessee? I think Sam Darnold gets it done this week. I would be surprised if he doesn't give you 2 touchdowns. And that's really the benchmark, right? For fantasy quarterbacks, got to get to 2 touchdowns, and then we're cooking with gas, right? Anything on top of that is gravy. But I do think that Darnold's got a really good chance to get 2 or more touchdowns today against Tennessee. So we'll see. DJ against KC is really interesting, man. But KC's been pretty good defensively here. Hold on, I'll give it to you. KC. Here we go. KC has allowed the 7th fewest fantasy points per game to the quarterback position. Tough matchup. And they're playing at home too. They're beastly at Arrowhead, let me tell you. So yeah, give me Darnold right here in terms of the matchups here. Daniel, Ferguson, Otten, or Pitts. I like Jake Ferguson, the player, against Philadelphia. I'm a little bit worried, man. And meanwhile, I think Pitts is probably your safest play. Otten is just so dang boring. Like, if he gets you 12 PPR points, you're stoked. I feel like Pitts is probably the call. Drake London out. Kirk Cousins has leaned on Pitts at different points when they've played together. So I'm going to say Pitts. Give me Pitts right here. I think he sees a lot of, I think he does end up seeing a lot of work with Drake London out. So I'll take Pitts right here. Joshua Frederick, Packers DST, KC DST. I think I'm taking Packers unless I could be convinced otherwise. They've got JJ McCarthy. They're playing at home. Yeah, there's nothing to think about, dude. Give me Green Bay. With JJ McCarthy back there, bro. Come on. Give me Green Bay. Fuzzy. What's up, Fuzzy? You need a flex, half PPR, Kamara, Wandale, or Kelsey. So Alvin Kamara's in a really, really great spot. Yeah, I mean, look, he's just in an awesome spot here. When you take a look at what Atlanta has done, I know Kamara's nursing a little bit of an ankle injury, but they're saying he should be fine. And man, the Falcons, they have given up the 4th most fantasy points per game to running backs. 6 different running backs have scored 11 plus PPR points in Atlanta's past 5 games. 6 in the last 5. That's tough to do at running back. And again, they've given up monster games too, right? Like 49-point game to Jonathan Taylor, 39-point game to Christian McCaffrey. Again, I'm not saying Kamara is in the Jonathan Taylor CMC range. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there is ceiling to be unlocked here. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, I like Kamara quite a bit actually this week. So I will take Alvin Kamara right there in half PPR. So the half PPR thing also makes it a little bit less appealing for Wandale, if you ask me. So yardage is more important. Give me Kamara. Shirley Wong. Bouts of Jawan Jennings. Bro, sorry, Shirley, I don't understand that question, like, at all. I'm sorry, I don't understand that question at all. Caleb Williams or Brissett? I'm still going Brissett right here. Caleb Williams he's been okay. He's been all right. But I'll take Brissett. Brissett's just been absolutely on fire. Dude, did you guys know that, okay, since Jacoby Brissett has started, did you guys know that Jacoby Brissett is the QB4 in per game scoring? He's averaging more than 21 fantasy points per game in his starts, bro. He's been going absolutely crazy. Brissett's been awesome. So I'm not, are you sitting down a top 5 fantasy quarterback? I'm not going to do it. Go ahead and give me Brissett easily. DJ Moore, Singletary. Oh, we talked about this one already. Yeah, so we'll go Singletary. Oh, Shirley Wong. Sorry, my bad. Oh, okay. Oh, Kayshawn Booty or Jennings. Okay, I got you now. I'm going to go Jawan Jennings right here. They've leaned on him at various points here. I do think that What's his name? I'm blanking here, but I think Jennings is going to have a nice game. Yeah, go. And again, I don't know how injured Booty is, but if he is limited in any capacity, remember he's coming back from a hamstring injury. Those are notorious for getting flared up as well. So I don't know, man. I think I'm trusting Jawan just a little bit more. Cindy Kuberg. Good morning to you. I know this was directed at Jim, but that's okay. Hate this question, but no other choices. Jameis or Tyrod? Dude, don't hate Jameis now. Jameis is all right. I like Jameis. I like Jameis quite a bit. I like him a lot more than Tyrod this week. I don't think there's any question. Jameis is, I mean, come on, man. Like, he can light it up now. I'm not saying he will, but by the way, super secret deep sleeper, Isaiah Hodgins. I think I like Hodgins more than Slayton, to be honest with you. And I think I may even like him more than Wandale. TBH. Terrion Arnold is out. Kirby Joseph is out. They're going to be very susceptible to the intermediate area of the field. That's where Hodgins is basically feasting right now. I think I like Hodgins more than Slayton this week, and I love Slayton too, by the way. But yeah, I think the Giants are in a good spot, y'all. Come on, man. Against Detroit, let's go. Okay, sorry. Town business. Yeah, town business. Jake Ferguson or Addison? Yeah. I will take. I want to say Addison. Look, everything in my gut is telling me Addison. I'll just say Addison. I'll say Addison. Again, it's a tough matchup for Ferguson against Philadelphia. All right, so hold on. I got super chat questions here, brah. Let's go. Chris Gallioni. What up, man? How you doing? Half point PPR. Tracy or Sean Tucker? I am going to go Tucker here. Again, Tracy's giving you zero goal line carries. That's wild. Last week, Devin Singletary had 6 goal line carries. Tracy, 0. Can't have it. Can't do it, man. There's no upside right there. Go ahead and give me Sean Tucker. And obviously Tucker coming off of a monster game. 3 touchdowns. Maybe they lean on Tucker around the goal line because he scored 3 last week. I don't know. We'll see. Cooperman, Odunze, or Michael Wilson in PPR. Isn't that crazy that we have come to this in regards to Rome Odunze? Odunze has been tough, man. It has been tough for Rome Odunze in recent weeks here. But again, we're talking about Pittsburgh. Let me go ahead and give you some stats real quick. Pittsburgh. Okay, here we go. Outside wide receivers. They have been absolutely blasted. They've given up the second most fantasy points per game to wide receivers who line up outside. Obviously, Jamar Chase was a no-show last week, but that's okay. Michael Pittman got him for 20. Alec Pierce got him for 17. We're looking at Christian Watson got him for 12.5. Week 7, Jamar got him for 38. T got him for 21. Yeah, man. I don't know how you sit down Rome. I just don't know how you do it. And I like, and again, some of these other players here, but when we're talking about Rome or Michael Wilson, I think I'm taking Rome Odunze there. Man, that's tough. I'm not going to lie to you. That's tough. In people, yeah. Golly, this is, and the thing is too, Jacksonville's actually given up a lot of production to the outside too. Yo, Jacksonville's given up the 3rd most fantasy points per game. Steelers 2nd most, Jacksonville 3rd most. All right, man. You know what? Let me flip it. I hate that I'm saying this, but give me Michael Wilson. Give me Michael Wilson right here. Cooperman. Give me Michael Wilson. Obviously, he's coming off that 15-catch, 185 performance. He's obviously not going to get to those heights here. But again, I do think that he's in a good spot. He's got a good matchup. Will he see a lot of work? Yeah, I think so. I think another 8 to 10 targets. Maybe he pulls in 6 to 7. Maybe he gets you 70 to 80 yards. I think we're looking at 14 to 15 PPR points. I think that looks about right. Okay, we got one more here. Here we go. Randy Malik, non-PPR. Jim DK or Slayton? Slayton. You can't trust. Look, I like DK the player. And again, he's got, a lot of target share available to him. But Tennessee's offense, man, can't trust it, dude. Go ahead and give me Slayton. Give me Jameis. I'll lean on Jameis here, Randy. Give me Jameis and give me Slayton. I'll take it all day long. All right, here we go. Where are we at? I think we're right here, right? Come on, y'all. Yeah, I think so. Okay, here we go. PPR, Judkins or Brees Hall? I'm going to go Brees Hall. They're going to lean on him, and he's been playing a dominant amount of snaps, right? Like he's been over 70. I think he's been over 70% for 2 consecutive weeks now. And yeah, they're just basically leaning on him hardcore, right? So I think I'll take Brees Hall right there. The Judkins one is really interesting. Hold on. Let me give you one thing here. I want to look at over-unders. I think this is very important. I don't think the fantasy industry looks at over-unders enough. Some people do, but some people don't. That's okay. I do. It's part of my process for sure. When we take a look at Cleveland versus Las Vegas, again, that game's supposed to score 37.5, right? Total, with Cleveland anticipated to score 17.25, one of the lowest of the week. So touchdown exposure for Judkins is pretty small. Where are the Jets in this, though? As I just said this, the Jets are anticipated implied total of 15.25. So worse than Cleveland somehow. But they are a 14-point dog. So is this standard or PPR? Okay, PPR. So in PPR, I actually think Brees Hall's got a chance here. Tyrod's under center. We don't have a running quarterback in Justin Fields, so he won't tuck in and run. Checkdowns will be available, and I think Brees Hall will get some checkdowns. They don't have wide receivers that they could really trust. Yeah, Brees Hall, PPR. 14-point dog. Game script suggests that they will be throwing the ball quite a bit. Tyrod doesn't have wide receivers, reliable wide receivers. John Mechie, I think, is a really interesting sleeper play this week, too. Man, by the way, y'all, the Sleeper King, in my league of record, I am going back to Adonai Mitchell. I'm starting him this week in my 14-team big money league because I do think that Adonai Mitchell has a chance, actually, to do some things. I like the separation that I saw. Now, can he catch the football? Can he catch the football? Oh, man, can he catch the football? That'd be great. Okay, all right, good morning to you, Ronnie Daniel. Full point PPR, Hunter Henry. No, we're going Hunter Henry. Guys, Cincinnati can't defend tight end. They have given up double-digit PPR points to tight ends 8 times in 8 weeks. Come on, man. No, we're going Hunter Henry. He's my favorite. He's everyone's favorite streaming tight end this week. Ezekiel Ruiz. Should I flex Mooney or Charb? Full PPR. In full PPR, give me Mooney. Again, too much target share. I actually think he gets it done this week. I know he's been terrible this year, but I think he gets it done. Yeah. Too much target share, I think, available for Darnell Mooney this week. OMG, it's Sleek. What up, Sleek? Full PPR, start K9 or Emmanuel Wilson. Kill me. I am going to say Emmanuel Wilson. Again, Kenneth Walker had a great game last week, but he got that one touchdown that I thought in normal circumstances he probably doesn't get. You know what I'm saying? That being said, they have a great game script in front of them. They're a 13-point favorite, heavy run script, especially in the second half. But again, Green Bay at home, that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and say Emmanuel Wilson. I'm just off of Kenneth Walker at this point, y'all. And I love Kenneth Walker, the player. I love him. But they just won't give him the ball around the goal line, man. Wandier. Start two, ETN, Swift, Judkins, worried about Tootin. Yeah, there's certainly cause for concern there. They've been more deliberate about getting him the rock. Worried that Browns still suck. They do. So yeah, you want to play Swift for sure. And I think if I'm picking one or the other, I actually think I might go Judkins here. Let me look at this real quick. Jacksonville is on the road. They're taking on Arizona, and Arizona has been very pliant against running backs. You know what? Yeah, you know what? Actually, you know what? Screw that. Give me ETN here. A little bit better touchdown exposure. Cardinals have given up the third. They're tied for the third most touchdowns allowed per game to the running back position. Yeah, they seemingly give up a touchdown to a running back almost each and every week. So, yeah, go ahead and give me ETN. Give me ETN and Swift of those two. We're getting to the super chat, baby. All right, where are we going super chat here? Hold on. Where are we at with this one, though? Okay, got you. Wait, hold on. Did I lose you already? Oh, okay, got it. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to the super chat. Jacoby Brissett or Darnold versus Tennessee? Jacoby Brissett. Guys, Jacoby Brissett's the quarterback 4 in per game scoring since he started, man. Like, they're just letting this thing rip. They're letting it fly. Go ahead and give me Jacoby Brissett. I mean, again, I like Darnold as a sleeper this week. I do. But, the funny thing is, in my sleeper column that I write, I didn't even put Brissett because I don't think Brissett should be considered a sleeper at this point. He's a quarterback. What is he? He's the quarterback 6 in total scoring since he started. He's a quarterback 4 in per game. I think he's graduated sleeper status into you just got to play him. And Darnold's in that boat too. But man, he's had 2 really, really rough weeks. I did put Darnold into my sleeper column, but I think Brissett, 100% for sure. I've got no problems with it at all. As a matter of fact. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the guy who, again, is the quarterback 4 in per game scoring since he took over the reins there in Arizona. Okay, Joshua Frederick, Hunt or Wandale, PPR. I am going to go. Okay, so I think Wandale's got better floor because of the PPR aspect, but again, no Pacheco here. High scoring game. Go ahead and give me Kareem Hunt. I'll take that. Derek Abreu. Emmanuel Wilson or Michael Wilson, full point PPR. Give me Michael Wilson. Look, Emmanuel Wilson's in a decent spot here, but I know he's a starting running back, but in full point PPR, I'll take Michael Wilson, the guy that just gave me 15 catches for 185 last week, man. Red Sea Saiyan. Yo, what? That's amazing. Oh, are you an Ohio State guy? I can't tell, but I like the Saiyan part of this whole ordeal. Charbonnet, Watson, Addison, or Mooney at flex for half PPR. I don't think this one's any question in my mind at all. We're playing Christian Watson. He's been playing good football. They've been utilizing him a lot. Matthew Golden is out, opening up more target share and most importantly, more snap share for outside wide receivers there. And Christian Watson, again, has been their most reliable, pass catcher there in Green Bay. T-Dob, Brenton Strange, or Jake Ferguson in PPR. Brenton Strange being activated off of IR. I don't trust the snap share. Go ahead and give me Jake Ferguson. I don't feel great about it. I hate the matchup against Philadelphia, but I'll take Jake Ferguson. Chim DK, Luther Burden, Xavier Worthy. You need 2 in PPR. This is from Eric Rasmussen. Eric Rasmussen. I'm wearing the Wolverine shirt. What's the government name for oh my gosh. Colossus. Is it Rasmussen? It is, right? Am I tripping? I can't remember what his name is. I'm not going to even Google it. Doesn't matter. Jim DK, Luther Burden, Xavier Worthy. You need 2. Oh my gosh. We are truly picking from the dregs right here, my guy. If I'm going to pick 2, I'll go Worthy because that game is supposed to be high scoring. So at least we get some touchdown exposure. And then, you know what? I'll give me Luther Burden too. Obviously surpassed Olamide Zaccheaus in snap share. I think he's got a role in the slot. I'll take him there. I just don't want any piece of Tennessee's offense. I think it's as simple as that. It really is. Did I have a super chat question, brother? Did I miss something here? Brian. Okay, so I did, but I don't see a question, my dude. Where's this question at, dog? Okay, hold on. Chill out. Don't do anything. Okay, because I think I can find you. Oh, I did find you. Okay, got it. Okay, here we go. Brian, I can't even read the full screen name. Alec Pierce or Jacoby Myers, giving op chance and sitting Flowers. Wow. I don't understand this question, my dude. Alec Pierce or Jacoby Myers, I think is what you're asking me. Is that what you're asking me, Doc? Okay. Alec Pierce or Jacoby Myers. Alec Pierce or Jacoby Myers. Give me. Look, Jacoby Myers got the better floor, but go ahead and give me Alec Pierce. Again, it's supposed to be a high-scoring game. I don't know if Vegas is wrong on this, right? But, like, you know, who am I to bet against all these dudes in Vegas, right? Like, they're saying it's a high-scoring game. So, maybe it's a high-scoring game. So, I'll say Alec Pierce. We got better touchdown exposure here than Jacoby Myers, in my opinion. So I will take Pierce right there. Jacoby Myers is very much a playable asset. This is nothing against Jacoby. And if it's full point PPR, Jacoby, I think, is a much safer play. But damn, I kind of want to chase that upside here with Alec Pierce, who's also been playing really, really good as well. So that would be Brian, I think that would be my choice right there. Okay, where are we at? We got to get back up here, y'all. Here we go. Ancillary, what a screen name. Ancillary Jabroni. I love it, dog. Oh my God, we got 10 minutes till kick. Damn, dude. Okay, half point PPR. Alec Pierce, Pearsall, or Kamara. Alec Pierce, Pearsall, or Kamara. Kamara for me. I am tempted by these other dudes, but especially in half point PPR, I will take Kamara right there, followed by Pierce, followed by Pearsall. Pearsall would be third in line right there. Brady Harrell, wow, you have a super team, bro. You got to pick two. I'm playing Derrick Henry for sure. I can't sit Barkley. Dallas is shored up their defense, but it's still not good. So give me Henry, give me Barkley. Brady Harrell again. We're going sit one. If I'm sitting one, I have to sit Darnell Washington, even though I love Darnell Washington, but I got to sit one of those. I'm sitting Darnell Washington. I don't think there's any question in my mind. Cooper Minnow, Dunze, Michael Wilson. I think I answered that question. Yes, I did. Dingo, Abuka, or Tet McMillan, 1 point PPR. Okay. Look, I like Abuka, but I just, man, I don't know if I could sit down Tet. I love Tet. Give me Tet in a 1 point PPR setup right here. Damn, trusting Bryce Young though makes it tough. You know what, man? Screw it. Give me Abuka because again, that game's supposed to be high scoring. I'll play the quarterback here. You know what I mean? I'll take Baker over Bryce any day of the week, twice on Sunday, and today is Sunday. So give it to me. Give me Abuka. We got more super chat questions coming in. This is from Thomas Colucci. Tet or Swift in PPR? Tough one. Man, this is a tough one. I am going to say my gut reaction is Tet. That's my gut reaction there, Thomas Colucci. Swift is in a really interesting spot, and you know he's going to get the work. Let me look this up real quick here for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Okay, here we go. They have allowed the 8th fewest fantasy points per game and the 3rd fewest touchdowns per game to the running back spot. I'll take Tet. Man, I will take Tet right here. So, yeah, let's go. Okay, cool. I got to go back up here. Here we go. Where are we at? Jaylen Warren, Michael Wilson in the flex. I think I got this one right. But regardless, go ahead and Give me Jalen Warren over Michael Wilson. If Warren is healthy, man, he's in a beautiful spot against Chicago. I like his touchdown upside here. Pete Patel, Pearsall or Coker, half PPR. Coker's in an awesome spot. Give me Coker. San Francisco's been getting gashed by receivers in the slot. Coker plays primarily out of the slot. I love it. ETW Byrne, Swift, Rashad, Shaheed, Watson, Ramondre, Flex. Already starting Travion. Well, if you're starting Travion, you don't want to start Ramondre, so okay. And I need to pick one of this entire group? Oh, dog, this is tough. I'm going to take... of this group, I guess I'll probably take... I will take Watson. That's tough. That is very tough. I'll take Watson right here. He's got the best big play ability. Shaheed really, really interests me here as well. And I do think Shaheed catches a touchdown this week, man. But again, I'll take Watson. I think he gives you similar upside with a better floor than Shaheed this week. So Travion and Watson, that's not a bad combo, to be honest with you. Pat Swan, New England or Ravens defense? New England or Ravens? Give me New England. Better defense than Baltimore. Baltimore's been playing a lot better, but still, I'll take New England from me. Okay, here we go. More super chat questions coming in. Scott Cobe, what's up, man? Good morning to you, pal. Good to see you. Kareem Hunt or Jake Ferguson in the flex? I will take Kareem Hunt. Again, high-scoring game against Indianapolis. Jake Ferguson, I don't love that game against Philadelphia. Philadelphia's defense is elite. I'll take Kareem Hunt right there. I feel like that one is pretty easy, actually, for me. Okay, here we go. Where are we going? I don't know. Where are we here with some of these questions, my guys? Burgundy, we got this one, right? Emmanuel Wilson, Charbonnet, Spears. I'll take Emmanuel Wilson right there. Rudolph, Sanders, Cousin, or Taylor, pick 2. Oh, okay, this is super flex. Okay, so if I'm picking 2, oh my God, this is the worst quarterback room I've ever seen. What? I picked 2 of this group. Are you crazy, dog? Okay, let me give me. I'm just gonna say bold prediction. I think Sanders scores 2 touchdowns today. So I'll go ahead and give me Shador. I'll take Shador, and I will take. Oh God, I definitely don't want Rudolph. Rudolph sucks. I'll take Shador, and I will take. I'll take Tyrod. Oh God, what are we doing out here, man? That's wild. No, you know what? Give me Shador. Give me Kirk Cousins, man. I actually think Kirk Cousins will be better than what we saw in recent weeks. I think he's getting his sea legs back. He hasn't played football in a long time, but he finally got all these first-team reps. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be all right. Parla Greco! What's up, man? Good to see you. Non-PPR scoring, Jalen Warren versus Chicago or Swift versus Pitt. Jalen Warren, too much upside. Chicago can't stop the outside run. They run to the outside a ton. Salvatore Esposito, Emmanuel Wilson, Christian Watson at the flex this week. RBs are Henderson and Gainwell. Okay, so you're set. Okay, wide receivers are Devontae Smith and Pearsall. At the flex. Okay, given your current roster construction right there, I think I am going. Look, if you want floor, you're going Wilson. If you want upside, you're going Watson. Okay, I hope that helps. But I think if I had to go 51% lean right here, I think I'm leaning Christian Watson. I think you'll end up with a little bit better touchdown exposure. So, yes, Eric Rasmussen again. I believe I got this one. Yeah, I got this one, guys. Okay, Pearsall, Burden, or Coker half PPR. In half PPR, give me Pearsall. Full PPR, I will take Coker. Half PPR, I'll take Pearsall because I think he's got better yardage potential right there. Tracy or Tootin half PPR. I mean, I'll take Tracy. I don't like either one, but I'll take Tracy right there. At least I know he has a role. I know he'll play 50% of the snaps, and he'll have a role between the 20s. Jose Avalos at running back. You got Saquon. You need 3. Okay, well, you're definitely playing. Henry, 1. You're playing Travion, 2. And you're playing Barkley, 3. Easy. I mean, these other players I like too, DeAndre Swift, modern guy, but like, nah, we're playing those guys, man. Go with it. At wide receiver, Michael Wilson, Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Yoshi Voss. You need 3. Um, I'm going. What? Of course you're playing Puka. What are we talking about over here? Of course you're playing Puka. I'm gonna play. I'm still going to play Michael Wilson. That's 2. And I'm still going to play A.J. Brown. That's 3 against Dallas's D. Yeah, go ahead and give me A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown plays well against Dallas. I'll take him there. Again, I hate his role in this offense, but let's go. So yeah, I'll go Michael Wilson, Puka Nacua, and A.J. Brown right there. Okay, Odunze or Michael Wilson in PPR. I will say Michael Wilson, Cooperman. I think I answered that one. Okay, David Pillsbury. You've got Brissett as quarterback. Yep, that's good. 2 running backs and 2 flexes from Bam. Okay, 2 running backs and 2 flexes from Bam. Dude, this question is way too long, my guy. There's a million options here. 2 running back, 2 flex. Okay, so I'm going Emmanuel Wilson, Christian Watson. No, I'm never playing Jerry Jeudy. I will take Sean Tucker. Blake Corum. No, we're not playing Blake Corum. And Andre Yoshivas. So if I had to pick 4 guys here, I'm going Emmanuel Wilson, Christian Watson, Yoshivas, and Tucker. That's my thought here. Any good stashes at wide receiver, running back? Grabbing Luther Burden while I got Jacobs. Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. It's a great stash. Jose, Dortch or Burden? I will go with Dortch right here. Increased quarterback play. Give me Dortch over Burden. And again, Burden's role is still undefined. We like what we saw last week. It's not guaranteed. Ronnie Daniel, full PPR for the flex. Etienne, Zay Flowers, Jawan Jennings, Swift. Okay, I need to pick one of this group. Oh, I'm picking Zay Flowers. No question. I got Zay Flowers in there. No question. Papa Greco, Ramondre against Cincy or Charbonnet against Tennessee. Ramondre. Actually, now that I think about it, though, give me Charbonnet. I'll take Charbonnet right there against Tennessee. Night Train, Otten, Theo Johnson, or Pitts, full PPR. And full PPR, give me Pitts. Night Train. I think he's going to see way too much target share with Drake London out. Bo Waldrop, PPR, Loveland or Strange? I'll go Loveland. Again, I don't know what kind of snap share Strange is going to look at right there, man. Night Train, Hunt, Mooney, or Pitts? Hunt, Mooney, or Pitts? I'm going to go Hunt. Yeah, I like Hunt of this group right there. Aiden Gallegos, Koh knows. What's up, bro? Flacco versus New England or Brissett? I like Brissett. Every single time. Kadarrell Hodge or Cup? Oh, God. I'd rather play Isaiah Hodgins, my guy. Like, Hodgins got to be available if you're playing Cup or Kadarrell Hodge. If I'm picking between the two, give me Hodge. I think he'll have a little bit better target share. Chris Gallioni. Oh, we already got to this one. Let's see. We're moving on. PPR. I got to all the super chats, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, we're good. Okay. Pearsall or Odunze, great show. Okay, I appreciate you, man. Terminal Sarcasm. Dude, bro, what a screen name. I love your screen name, dog. PPR, Pearsall or Odunze. I still think I'm leaning Odunze here. Pearsall, I think, is fine. But they're obviously trying to get him back and activated here. He's missed so much time, bro. It's my guy, Alan Medina. What up, dude? Good to see you, bro. I had to put Josh Jacobs on the bench. You're starting Bam Knight. Yep, that's tough. That is tough. Should I start Jonathan Brooks instead of Bam Knight? No, I'll go with Bam Knight. You're good. You're in a good spot. I know we're past the 10 o'clock hour. I don't know if I'm helping people or not, but, man, I just feel like I should answer some of these questions, bro. Daniel Jones or Jordan Love, 6-point passing touchdown? Give me Daniel Jones. Jordan Love has not been playing well. Brad, Alec Pierce or Jacoby Myers? I'm giving my opponent a chance, so I sat Flowers. I think I answered that one. I did. Yep, I did. Brian, Alec Pierce, or Jacoby Myers. Oh, yeah, I answered all that stuff, dude. Here we go. Brian, you're spamming the chat, my guy. Ezekiel Ruiz, Flex Mooney, or Charb, full PPR. I'll take Mooney. I'll take Mooney right there as a much better option in PPR. Charbonnet doesn't do anything unless he scores a touchdown, which he might score a touchdown. I don't know. But it's tough to rely on touchdowns, though. I'll take Mooney. Brad Toms, PPR pick 3. Sean Tucker, Trey Tucker. Knight, Spears. Not Spears. Parker Washington. Let's go Sean Tucker, Trey Tucker, and Parker. Those would be my 3. Okay, guys, I think I'm at it. I apologize. I wish I got. I say this every week, man, but man, there's just such a backlog of questions, guys. I do apologize. And listen, anytime you guys want, you guys could always follow me on social media as well at James Koh. Last name spelled KOH on any platform. I shouldn't say any, but most platforms here. We're talking Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I'm pretty active on all these. Are you on Blue Sky? I'm on Blue Sky. Are you on Threads? I'm on Threads at James Koh. At all these different places. And if you got questions, man, just throw them my way. And we'll get to as many of these as possible. Anyways, I appreciate y'all, man. I wish I got some more questions. Unfortunately, I just didn't. Try to rip through as many as possible, though. So I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you guys jumping in, man. And we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Remember now, it's never too late to chase your dreams. All right, peace.